Howdy, howdy, howdy. How you doing, Brett?
Okay, how you doing, Dave?
Oh, I'm doing pretty good. I'm doing pretty good.
Good to be back.
Yes. Round two.
I like all your podcasts.
Well, thank you, sir.
You're doing a good job. You've had a lot of good actors. I mean, good comedians.
Yeah, it's been pretty interesting.
Yeah.
It's been eye-opening, just trying to learn, this whole interview process type thing.
Yeah.
It's something new to me.
Yeah.
So I like talking to people.
Oh, yeah.
So
there was some really good, interesting stories, and it's good to hear some of them.
Yes, like everybody I've had on so far, there's been that something with them.
Oh, yeah.
It's been pretty
They
good.
all have a history.
Yeah.
And
yes, they do.
Music's their calling. I mean,
yep.
Everyone you've had's been involved in music in some way, shape, or form, whether they're just entertained by it or they're actually physically playing in a band or they have been in a band or they follow a band. It don't matter. Music is their thing.
Yeah.
And that's what we like to see.
That's what we want.
Yeah.
See, music's like the national language.
Oh, yeah.
Between a lot of, a good bit of us, because.
Yeah, that bonds us together, don't it?
Yes, it does. Well, in today's episode, this is episode 7.
Okay.
7 or 8, I can't remember. Yeah. But anyways, me and Brett talked about this, and we picked out like 15 records that would be whatever our go-to would be,
Mm-hmm.
Here it's hardcore, thrash metal, heavy metal, rock and roll, whatever the case may be.
Mm-hmm.
And this is for us and for you people out there as well. If you see an album that we kick out here and you go, I haven't heard that in a while.
Yeah.
Then you go put it on. Listen to it.
Oh, yeah. And if, for future reference, if there's anybody out there that would like to do something like this again, the options are open. I mean, you can do greatest hits, you can do lives, you can do box sets, just metal, just street heavy metal, anything.
Because the box sets, it'd probably be coming up probably maybe late November. Mm-hmm. Going into December.
Yeah.
Something to fill out time and stuff like that. And I'll probably do an Iron Maiden episode. Just because.
If you got a fellow Iron Maiden fan, they can bring their favorite Iron Maiden albums, and then you can do what we're about to do. So stick around. Don't shut us off.
This is going to be pretty interesting, because I have no idea what he brought.
Yeah.
And he does it.
I have no idea what he has.
Yeah, he's seen one record, what I've popped up right here.
Well, I didn't pay attention, but he did pay attention to one of mine by accident. That's all right. And I will say that some of these, unintentionally, that I brought was some that you have talked about on previous episodes, but that's because I guess we feel like they're a go-to album. It had nothing to do with you've had them on here before.
Yeah. It's pretty interesting. This is going to be something a little bit different.
So right out of the box.
Right out of the box. Or right out of the gate.
Do you want me to go big right off the bat, or you want me to get
Or you can go home.
Go big or go home?
Yes, sir.
Let's just start it out right then.
Oh, boy.
My go-to Judas Priest album is Screaming for Vengeance. Now, let me tell you a little bit of history about this. This album is the original album that I got when I was in high school. Look how good a shape that's in.
Did you ever play it?
Well, I think I've told you before that we would always buy the albums and record them onto a blank cassette so that when we played them in our cars, if we broke the cassette, we always had the album. We could just record another one. And that's how I did it, and that's how I've been able to save all of my albums.
That's flawless.
And I did lose the cellophane at one point, but I kept the hype sticker, and I just got it on here on the inside of the plastic sleeve here that we store them in.
That's pretty cool.
And it still sounds amazing because it's probably only been played 50 times at the most, but it was my go-to Judas Priest album.
Well, you come out of the box swinging.
And right out of here, the Hellion, Electric Eye, Riding on the Wind. Have I said any yet? That Ain't No Good.
No, you have not.
Bloodstone, Take These Chains. Pain and Pleasure. Side 2, Screaming for Vengeance. You've Got Another Thing Coming.
Yeah.
I mean, that song right there, to hear that in the car,
Loud,
and going to work and coming home, you're all stressed out, and you got people on your mind you just like to just, and then you put this on that relieves you of all that tension.
yes. Well, at least you hope it does.
And Fever and Devil's Child.
I always like Devil's Child.
That's a good one.
Yeah. Not,
So there ain't really a bad song on here, is there? If you think about it.
no, there's not.
I mean, up until this point, the only Judas Priest I heard was what was on the radio.
Yeah.
And that would have been something like maybe Living After Midnight.
I know they still play the bejesus out of that song.
And now you hear all the old Priests. But,
Yes.
back in the day, it was, the heavier stuff wasn't really played on the radio.
But believe it or not, my actually go-to Priest record is Sad Wings of Destiny. I still
yeah?
think that's their best record.
Oh, that's an older one, isn't it?
It's their second one.
Yeah.
Yes. It's still it has probably their best album cover. And every song is just an absolute banger on it.
Yeah. So you don't have an answer to this one?
Matter of fact, I think I do. No, not really. Not really. This is a group called Death.
Oh.
Yeah, this is their like second or third record. But yeah, this is when the aggression.
Let's hear about this because I don't know anything about it.
Okay. Well, they're about like a death metal band, one of the first ones, basically. They came out back in the 80s and stuff. But they're you got song Leprosy, Born Dead, Forgotten Past is a really good one. I think it's really catchy in the beginning. Left to Die, Pull the Plug, Open Casket, Primitive Ways, and Choke on It.
So,
So there's that.
so when you say death metal, I seen this one called Open Casket. That sounds like death to me. But when you say death metal, give me a little bit of more of a description of what death metal really is, in general.
Well,
Do they talk about death? Are they
a good bit?
Are they scary? Are they frightening? Are they?
Well, a lot of people may think they're a frightening band because it's a very aggressive band.
Yeah.
They put it out there.
Okay.
But I can give you a sample afterwards, or if anybody out there.
Yeah. Are they loud?
Yes, they're very loud.
Is it the type of guitar that's just that kind of stuff?
It's aggressive.
Like if I tried to play it,
You probably hurt yourself.
Okay.
But the early stuff, I think this is probably one of their better records.
Yeah. Okay.
But they actually evolved into like a very progressive,
All right.
supposedly like death metal
Okay.
band. They're really good.
Now, is death metal your favorite stuff? If you had to choose just one genre of music,
It's thrash metal.
thrash metal.
Yeah, because it's got that them breakdowns, man.
Okay.
They're just some of the best. Of course, that with thrash metal, came along hardcore.
Right.
And hardcore took those breakdowns and made songs out of them.
I got you.
Which is great.
Okay.
But yeah, I can give you a
Well,
song.
that gives us all some clarity on that because not everybody knows about this that's been watching your podcast.
Yeah, this is good stuff. But
Yeah.
the song, if you guys want to out there in the YouTube world, go ahead and punch up "Forgotten Past" by Death.
Right.
You will not be disappointed.
I'll have to listen to one.
Oh,
You play a song for me.
yeah, we can do that.
Play that Casket song.
Right, that was my rebuttal to your Priest.
Man, I don't know. Did Priest win that one?
Yes.
I don't think there's any winners or losers here.
No.
Okay. Now, see, I'm more. You're going to bring out bands that not everybody's heard of. I'm probably going to have everybody that somebody's heard of.
That's fine.
Mine's a little older stuff, and some classic rock mainly.
There's nothing wrong with that.
But my favorite, AC/DC, is for those about to rock. Over Back in Black. But I have to tell you, to be honest,
Here we go.
to be honest, I mean, I liked AC/DC when I was a kid, but they were okay. You know, I was still listening to other stuff. Of course, I was a big Kiss fan at a young age. But, you know, Bon Scott had passed away and Back in Black come out. And that was like a very popular, I mean, over-the-top popular album in 1980. I think everybody that listened to rock and roll.
Everybody had that record.
Had Back in Black.
Yeah.
And then they threw out Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap. That was one of Bond's albums that didn't get released in America. And they threw this out there around about the same time. I'd have to look at the dates. But anyhow, I wound up getting this one for Christmas that year, 81.
My sister bought that for me for Christmas as well.
And I tell you, well, you know, for those about to rock, how it comes out with the guitar.
Yeah.
And then, of course, Evil Walks Me. Yeah.
It's a good song.
And COD. I haven't said anything yet that you can't sing to. Spellbound, Put the Finger on You.
Good song.
I mean, I can just see Angus going across the stage. And Let's Get It Up. And I think that was the hit off of here.
It was.
And Inject the Venom, Breaking the Rules.
That song of Inject the Venom, I think, is one of their heaviest songs they've ever done.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is pretty heavy. I'd say so. Breaking the Rules, Snowballed, and Night of the Long Knives. Now, most all albums kind of drift off by the time they get to the end of it, but that's pretty solid.
Straight down the pike.
I mean, not all those songs are played anymore.
Yeah.
They've done released how many albums since then, and they're going to play those albums. You're going to hear Thunderstruck and songs like that that's happened since this album. But I think that this was a good answer to Back in Black, a good follow-up to Back in Black.
Yep.
And I don't think they drifted apart from it at all, and they stayed pretty even. But this is my go-to.
It's like the record that came after this, Flick of the Switch.
Yeah.
It's such a criminally underrated record.
Oh, yeah.
It is so good.
I had it on cassette.
Raw. Yeah, it's raw. Yeah, I had it on cassette as well.
We played that in the car on cassette. It wasn't quite up to what these two did, but it was still there.
Pretty close.
We wasn't drifting away from it too much.
Well, we didn't have the real high production that the first two had.
Right. And another thing, it seems like with all bands, they put out a couple albums and they're big hits, and then by the time they throw a third one out, nobody really wants to listen to them. It's not that the album isn't any good. Yeah. It's just they kind of drift away from it because maybe somebody else came along with a better album. Yeah. But if I didn't do one, but if I was going to do a Bon Scott AC/DC go-to, it'd have been Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap.
Yeah, that's good. All right. Now my kicker to that one is Corrosion of Conformity.
Okay, here's another one I don't know much about.
Wise Blood. That's the name of this one. They're about like a stoner doom band.
Okay.
You know, in a vein of like you know how Sabbath was with Ozzy. You know, it has that doomy type sound to it and stuff. But yeah, it's this one. This one here, of course, there's not a bad song on it. Of course, you have the King of the Rotten, Long Whip, Big America. I mean, all the songs are so good on here. Wise Blood, Goodbye Windows, The Door, Main of Ash, Redemption City, Born Again for the Last Time. You probably heard the song Drowning in a Daydream. You may have heard that on the radio. The Snake Has No Head.
So what station they usually get played on?
Good question.
Is it probably the 99.7, maybe? The heavier stuff?
Yeah, possibly.
Okay.
You know. But yeah, I remember getting this here on that cassette, CD when it first came out. I was like, oh my God, and it went up against Metallica. Wow. Whatever Metallica record was released at that time, they went up against them for a Grammy. Right. Which I thought they got screwed. Because this record here was like 50 times
So that was up for a Grammy, huh?
Yep.
That's good.
I mean, if you're into that type of like doomy type, this is the record for me.
So this is doom and this is death.
Doom and death. Yeah.
Doom and death. Yeah. Something dark.
I mean, they're really not that dark,
Yeah.
but they're they put it out there. They're almost like in the same vein as like a, I don't know, maybe not so much Fu Manchu, but they have that deep guitar sound to them, like Fu Man does.
Man.
But Fu they put a lot of fuzz into their guitars. And theirs is a little bit lighter fuzz. But yeah, it's
Man, you're up in the game here. You've got
well.
doom and dark.
Oh
I
shit!
think we need
Some pick me up music.
I need to get competitive here.
Oh,
Even though nobody's a winner here.
well, we're all
I need
winners.
something
We are all winners.
black.
It was funny because I almost picked that record.
How about doom, dark, and black? There's my answer. Okay, I was more into Ozzy before I was into Black Sabbath. And I wasn't into Ozzy till after he was out of Black Sabbath.
Yeah,
So I'd heard Iron Man and Paranoid.
yeah.
That was it. That was the only old Black Sabbath that I knew. And Ozzy's Blizzard of Oz had already come out. And probably Diary of the Madman too. But I found this on 8-track. And I couldn't help it. I was like, I'll buy it. Black Sabbath. And I knew it was with Dio. But I didn't really know much about Dio. But
The man.
but I knew a little bit about it. And and my brother was telling me a little bit about it because I guess there was a story where they went to see Blue Oyster Cult down at Athens Convo. And I don't know who was with Blue Oyster Cult at the Convo, but the next night was what they called the Black and Blue concert in Cincinnati. And he said that these guys was in the audience. He saw them walking down to the Convo.
It's pretty cool.
In the crowd, Dio and Tony Iommi and Butler and Ward. I think it was Ward.
Yeah, Bill Ward.
And was he with them then?
Yeah, yeah.
So anyhow, there was some stories with that, and I was like, okay, I'll give him a chance for $5 on an 8-track. And it was probably the best 8-track I ever owned.
I believe it.
And yeah,
The first song on that record, to me, I think is still the best heavy metal song ever written.
Oh yeah,
I'll fight you.
Neon Nights.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a good introduction.
Right out of the gate.
Yeah, and that's a good song on Live Evil, the live album. Which, if anybody's into live album and you don't have Black Sabbath Live Evil, you better just go get it right now. Walk Away is pretty good. Heaven and Hell. That's probably, in my opinion, the best Dio song.
Yeah.
I really like
Best song.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Die Young, Children of the Sea. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Lonely is the word, and Wishing Well. Wishing Well was good.
Yeah.
And Lady Evil. She's a magical, mystical woman. But
Not one filler.
nope, not really. That's a solid album. A lot of people like Mob Rules over this.
Mob Rule's a good record.
But I had to choose this one just because of the history that it has with it. And, I get past all this stuff you see on these records and stuff they say about them.
Because that there's an actual picture.
Yeah. So they've just taken that and put it on here.
A little bit of liberties with it.
But, back in the day, there was gimmicks.
Yes.
And there was things that, a little controversy could
Goes a long way.
help you sell.
Yeah.
So we started hearing all these things. I'm not going to get into all that, but we started hearing things about bands and stuff that maybe I wouldn't necessarily agree with, or some of the others, but we'd have to decide whether we was still going to listen to it or not. And I chose to listen to it, and it never affected me any. So,
And it's a good record, man. I mean, straight from song one to the last one.
right. So I'm all about guitar playing. I hardly ever listen to what we call words, what they mean in the music.
Yeah.
But this album is just solid. I don't know really what all they're singing about, to be honest.
Don't matter.
It's just good music. It's the type of music that I like. The guitar playing, the drums, the chorus, and that's true with about all the Black Sabbath albums and so forth, really, because I don't I don't know. I just listen to it.
Yeah.
It don't hold any meanings to me.
Yeah.
But this in rock and roll music, if you're going to buy a Black Sabbath with Dio, you should look into this one and Mob Rules for sure.
My opinion, any Black Sabbath.
Yeah, with Dio.
No.
All of them.
Straight out of Pike.
Well, I thought you was more Dio than Ozzy.
Oh, I am. I mean, you take this one here, Mob Rules.
Yeah.
I think it's stronger than anything the Black Sabbath did with Ozzy.
Right.
I know that's probably not the most popular opinion, but
Right.
it's my opinion.
Yeah.
And people, they can say whatever they want, but
Hey, he was a good replacement to come in there and take over like that, because they could have sunk big time.
Dio say, he gave him that kick.
And, they were kind of sinking after he left, if you think about it.
Well,
Wasn't as popular.
they, of course, they released the Born Again record, which I thought was I think it's a killer record.
It is.
It's a really,
But it appeals to people like you. It didn't appeal to all the Sabbath fans.
Oh, I get that.
Yeah.
I get that. It's weird because when I bought it on cassette back in the day, this is back in '83.
Right.
A
lot of good albums came out in '83.
Yes.
As we're going to find out.
Well, I did not pull that Maiden record from '83.
Oh,
I did not pull that one, but we'll, what the hell's Tom? Oh, yeah. The Born Again cassette, I don't know how or what happened in the recording of it, or
Right.
dude, it sounded like mud. Because you put that cassette in, it was real low.
It was not recorded well. In fact, I had read an interview or heard an interview just pretty recent, like last year, that if Tony Iommi was going to put that out, if he would remaster it and remix it and all that.
Make it sound clear.
Yeah.
But the funny thing about it is, you listen to it on vinyl, it's clear. It's crystal clear.
Huh.
It's like, I don't get it.
Have you already bought, is it a remastered or is it an original?
Oh, mine's the original.
Okay. Huh.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
It could be your system too.
No, it's not my system.
Okay. It's the record. It's the recording.
Yes. But, the record, like I say, man, it's crystal clear, but you put, even when they remastered it on CD,
Yeah.
they still kept it low. It's like, you guys had the chance to bring everything up, clear it up a little bit. They didn't.
I think I had trashed on a K-Tel Masters of Metal album, and it was on there. And
I always liked those compilations.
That was the only part of that album that I had.
Yeah.
But I've since got the album. Is this your answer to Black Sabbath?
Well,
Close to it, huh?
a bit of Overkill record.
I've heard of them. I've definitely heard of Overkill.
That's good. Album called Taking Over.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. This is the,
What year is this?
I think around 86, 87,
Okay.
possibly,
Yeah.
when it came out. 87, yes. All right, what we got here is the sidewalk. Got the Deny the Cross, Wrecking Crew, Fear His Name, Usual Head, Fatal Swallowed. See a theme?
More death stuff.
Yeah, Power Surge and Union We Stand, which that was the big hit off of this one. Electro Violence and Overkill 2, The Nightmare Continues. Phenomenal thrash. This is a thrash metal record.
So it's thrash, but it has some death in it.
No, not so much death.
Okay.
Maybe some innuendos
Because to me, thrash was like the heavier version
of heavy metal.
of the hairband era of the 80s. Instead of getting hairband, you want something heavy, you got something like Overkill, because they weren't hairband. Even though they may look like they had long hair, we wouldn't classify them as a hairband.
Yeah.
They were the heavier stuff.
Oh, they were the better stuff.
Yeah.
But, I don't know, the whole hairband
The
stuff.
hairband thing was a Poison or a Twisted Sister or a Bon Jovi or something.
It's weird because, Twisted Sister was, they were a straight up rock band. Until they released Stay Hungry, then
They got,
full of themselves.
right, they got, what do you want to call that?
Popular. Very, very, very popular.
Well, they got a little money under them too, so they could buy different outfits and fix their hair different. Go to the beauty shop.
Oh, yeah. Stock up on makeup. But yeah, when this here came out, I ended up buying it on cassette and stuff like that. listen to it, 24/7. But yeah, here's the reissue of it. It's remastered at half speed. So, it's...
What would be some other thrash metal at that time you could, just off the top of your head, you could think of?
Metallica.
They would be considered thrash.
Yes. Anthrax.
The early Metallica. I wouldn't really call Metallica now in
No.
hindsight so much thrash.
They're like a progressive heavy metal band.
Okay.
They turned into Maiden.
Yeah. But Megadeth would have been thrash.
Yes.
I did see Megadeth. They opened for Iron Maiden when I seen them.
What was
It was
that?
supposed to be Guns N' Roses. And Axl got too popular for Iron Maiden, so he went out on his own, and they filled it up with Megadeth. That was at the highest center on the seventh son of a seventh.
See, I was supposed to go to that concert.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, but I had to work. But, they said, oh, yeah,
That was
yeah.
a good show.
Oh, thanks for...
Now, I can't tell you about Megadeth so much because I think I pretty much sat down through that whole show.
Yeah.
But it seems like they did a Ramones song or something, or was it Sex Pistols? One of them, kind of a...
Anarchy in the UK.
Yeah,
probably.
who did that one?
That was Sex Pistols.
Sex Pistols, yeah.
Yeah.
They did that one.
Yeah, because I think they actually put that on one of the records.
And when they did that, the ones that was sitting down stood up, and I guess I stood up.
Yeah. So you see what's going on.
But we was far enough away that
They would have never known.
Well, it's the high center, so I guess
Yeah.
you're close to just about anywhere you sat in there, unless she's up on that higher deck on the back.
But yeah, if I was going to pick like a thrash record or whatever, just particularly by this band here, this is the record I would choose.
Okay.
For anybody out there, you're not going to be disappointed in any song that's on this record. So far, I'd say that the records we've put out here.
Our go-tos for you?
Well, yeah, even the ones you brought, they're good.
Well, I can't say that about these for me, but
I got
I
you.
appreciate it that you're
I'm trying.
telling about them.
I'm trying.
You're educating me.
Well, I'm seeing what I can do here. Maybe turn you to the dark side.
Well,
If there is a dark side,
I'm
turn you
probably
to.
going to go backwards here. Because I guess we had two different things in mind about what our go-tos are. When you do this, you find out about each other. So you find out that maybe Dave likes these, but these ain't really the ones he's going to pull out of his record collection.
But I didn't pull out any ABBA. I thought about pulling ABBA out.
Okay. Well, in my opinion, this next album, back when it came out, was pretty heavy stuff for the late 70s. And I think everybody had it at some point. It's probably the best of the group.
Ooh, 1976 record.
Was it 76?
Yes, sir.
Because I just think that they were trying to be new. It was a new style. It wasn't quite like some of the other bands. It was, but it wasn't. You know what I mean? There was a certain sound to it that set them apart from others, and it might have been the singing. The singing on his voice is.
Well, Brad Delp.
He's just so high pitched, and he can really hit
Really
those
strong
and
voice.
scream. And then you combine that with the guitar and the songs the way they sang them. It was pretty phenomenal for 1970s.
Yes, it was.
And there was some bands out there that was trying some different things. Styx was trying a few different things. ELO was trying some different things. So there was some different types of styles out there.
Yeah.
But I think Boston's the one that
Nailed it.
nailed it.
Yeah.
And so getting to this album,
Not one bad song. Every song on that record.
I can't read that.
Got your bifocals?
No, just reading glasses. More Than a Feeling, Peace of Mind, Foreplay, Long Time. So that must have been like an introduction.
Yes.
Rock and roll band, Smoking. Da-da-da-da. Hitch a Ride, Something About You, and Let Me Take You Home Tonight. So, and there was, it was, I think this hit the hearts of a lot of the teenagers in the 70s.
It's good
They
record.
knew who they were targeting.
Yep. It's smart.
And I've heard it just from in the house. My sister had this, and then I think my brother wound up with Don't Look Back. And so,
Don't Look Back's a good record, too.
yeah, so when I started getting into albums, I wanted to get me a copy of it, and it's really turned out to be one of my favorites.
Yeah.
And there's just there's a certain sound to that when you put that on your turntable, it's 1976.
Yeah.
As what you said it was, 76. You know, you can just feel the 70s.
Yeah.
Ain't that funny how you can do that with music, or you know, even an old movie will take you back.
Yeah. But this record here, like you said, you know, as soon as you put it on, you know it's a 70s record.
Oh yeah.
Because there's no other band today, not saying that there should be,
Right.
then you can come close to replicating this sound.
Right.
It's not even in the realm of things.
Where it has that feel,
Yeah.
and nobody can copy it.
I'm glad they can.
Do you think anybody can copy it?
No. No, I don't.
Come close, but
Yeah, they might.
even when Boston put out their third stage and some of them, it just wasn't quite this. It was good,
Yeah.
and it was close, but it wasn't quite what we recognized as this album.
Yeah. I mean, that's a hard record to beat.
Yeah.
That's your first record.
Yeah.
And it was basically recorded in their in Tom Schultz's basement.
Oh yeah. So you know a little bit about that album.
I've heard a little bit about
Tell
it.
us some more about it. You know anything else about it?
No, that's really about it.
Did they do any albums where they did
Well, they recorded all
overdubs?
Yeah, well, did like all the demos and stuff, I guess, down in his basement. Because he was like an MIT.
Okay.
He's a smart dude. You know, and he came up with his whole contraption and stuff with his.
So did he do guitar overs and synthesizer overs?
He did all that shit.
So the band really wasn't really the band until they went out on.
Well, no. He got the Nucleus band. But, you know, like all the crazy sounds and stuff like that, through the synthesizer and what.
Okay.
And running his guitar through all this synthesizer stuff.
Okay.
Schultz did all that stuff. Down in his basement, built it all.
Ain't that something?
Smart dude.
He must have had a pretty good quality setup
Oh, dude.
back in the day.
I couldn't even imagine. This here, you got to figure that was probably around.
75 before this.
Oh, yeah, at least probably about 73, 74 after that time, building it, getting everything to a T.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah.
Makes you wonder what happened to all that stuff. Man,
Yeah,
flew over our head.
yeah, that's a hot rod going down the road.
How you going to answer to that one?
I can answer with a little bit of Slayer.
Oh, okay.
Raining Blood.
Slayer. Now, I've heard of Slayer,
See?
and I've heard some of their songs.
Yes.
Now, to me, they would be kind of that thrashy stuff you'd be talking about.
Yep. Yeah, they're
not so
about-
much the dark stuff.
Yeah, they're about in the same realm as Overkill.
Yeah.
Except this is California, this here's New York.
Oh, okay.
Overkill's a New York band.
Oh,
But yeah. There we go. Crazy looking cats, aren't they? Hey, you got Angel of Death, Piece by Piece, Necrophiliac, Altar of Sacrifice, Jesus Saves, Criminally Insane, Reborn, Epidemic, Postmortem, and Raining Blood.
oh, it's a religious album.
You can say that. You can. Yeah, it's a.
That's what Paul Lynde said about Kiss on Paul Lynde's Halloween when they introduced them.
Oh, it did.
And it said they were Ace and Gene and Peter and Paul. And he says, well, it sounds like a religious group.
It's like the four wise men. So three, you had four.
Yeah, so I see this and I said, oh, it's a
But
religious.
yeah, this here is, like I say, it's a thrash metal record from the, what was it, 86 or so?
Yeah.
Yeah, from 1986. That this one here was kicked out. And I remember getting this on cassette. Of course, you know, Street Beat. I guess where everybody got most of their music back then.
Yep.
Got it, listened to it. I went, boy, this isn't Metallica. It's not even close to Metallica. It's a lot heavier. And I liked it. I liked it a lot.
That's good.
Of course, the record before this one here was a lot darker.
Huh.
So
How many albums they got now?
they got a few.
They've been around a while.
Yeah, they've been around. I think since around 83 they've been out. I think that's when they released their first one's 83. But yeah,
And their newer stuff's pretty heavy too, no doubt.
yes.
Probably
Well, they actually
maybe a little heavier. they didn't mellow out any. They didn't start doing like acoustic renditions.
Oh no. But yeah, it was funny because we went. I had tickets to go see Slayer. They're a couple buddies, and wife had the Anthrax. She's wanting to see Anthrax. Anthrax's opening band, then Megadeth.
Okay.
And then Slayer was the main act. First two bands, they're not too bad volume-wise and stuff. I told Anderson, better get ready, because these guys, when they come on, they're loud. Because I've seen them before on a Divine Intervention tour. Well, they come out with the song Rain and Blood. I don't know if you've heard
That's
it.
what this is called here. Rain and Blood.
Yeah, Rain in. But yeah, it has a...
Yeah.
Then it kicks in.
Now, I do like the drums when they do that on these heavier bands.
Oh, dude.
I can't really describe it. It just, especially in concert, your heart you feel it thumping in your chest.
Yes.
I like that.
And dude, when they hit into that, that with the double bass and stuff like that, the guitars, dude, there's not a better feeling in the world.
Yeah.
It's like you said, that you get that tribal, basically like a tribal type drumming to it.
Yeah, we can't emulate it here. It's
fast. It's very fast.
But to hear that, I forget who it was that was playing. I think it was, might have been Bonham. When Bonham had his band, and we showed up late. He was the first band that was showing up. And anyways, those drums that he did.
Heavy, huh?
Oh, well, we heard it outside of the stadium. It was at the River Bend, but we heard it out in the parking lot.
Yeah.
And I said, oh, that's definitely Bonham on them drums. When you're getting out of the car and you think, did we leave the radio on? Because
yeah, it's crazy.
Everything's thumping all around you. And it's just like, oh, man. We're missing him. We got to get in there and see him.
Yeah, but Dave Lombardo is the drummer for this band. And he's one that a lot of people, he revolutionized the thrash metal drumming, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
That fella right there. Look at
This guy here, Dave
Lombardo.
Yeah.
Right there.
That's your drummer.
He's damn good. Yeah, he's one of my favorite drummers to listen to. Of course, he's been in a few other bands, After the Slayer debacle, everything went downhill for him. I mean, they retired and they got together for a few shows here of late, so just trying to get back out there, I guess.
Well, they have their fan followers.
Oh, yeah.
So,
dude, they got a
pretty good crowd.
Yeah, they got a hell
Good
following. Yeah.
Huh.
Let's see what Brett's got.
How am I going to answer to that? I'm running out of heavy albums.
Oh, you don't need heavy.
Huh?
One as soft as a record.
Let's change things up.
Let's do it.
You're gonna laugh.
Probably not.
Now, this album.
Good record.
Now, it's between me and Jesus as to whether I bought this album for the album cover or the music. So
yes.
we won't go there.
That's
But the album, once I got the album, was really good.
Yes. It is a good record.
When you're 13 years old and you're starting to notice things and you're trying to broaden your spectrum of music.
Well, nothing more is going to really draw your attention.
You're going through the Rinks department store and all of a sudden, hey,
wow,
who are these guys? And I get to looking at them and I think, 38 Special, it's got a gun on it. And I'm thinking, these guys are either Southern rock or they're country, but it said rock and roll. So I'm thinking, must be rock and roll like a Leonard Skinner type.
It is.
And I had no idea that the Van Zandt was related.
Yeah.
I didn't know all that. When you're 13, you're not paying attention to
You just want to hear good music.
But as it turned out, I had heard Hold On Loosely. Oh, okay, Hold On Loosely. And when that comes on, the bass on that, do-do-do-do, it's just, if you got the right system and you hear that, it just,
Yep.
And first time around, that was pretty heavy.
It's good.
For Southern rock. It was First time, a lot of guitar playing. I mean, like lead guitar.
Well, they had like 3 guitarists in this band, didn't they?
I'm not sure.
I think they were
At
modeled.
one time, maybe.
Yeah.
Wild Eyed Southern Boys, of course.
Yep.
Back Alley Sally was kind of a upbeat,
Yeah.
kind of almost 50s style, but it was rock and roll of the 80s, early 80s. Fantasy Girl was their hit.
Yeah.
So that was something you was hearing on the radio.
QFM 96.
But you don't hear it so much anymore. You hear Hold On Loosely all the time.
Which is a great song.
But you don't hear Fantasy Girl. Hitting and Running, that was kind of a upbeat, heavier Southern rock. Honky Tonk Dancer, that had a catchy melody. Throw Out the Line and Bring It On. So, as it turned out, I thought it was a pretty good album, and I actually became a 38 Special fan, and I wound up buying the other albums, and there were some albums that was before this that I'd found in the cheap tape sections of Woolworths or someplace for like a buck or two.
Snag it up.
Cassettes. So I have like the first 38 Special, and there was another one after it, and then there was the what's the rock and roll? The one right before this.
Was it Special Forces?
No, that come after this. Their big hit, rock and roll. I know what it is. It has the bullet on it and like a lipstick.
Oh, okay.
You know which one I'm talking about. But anyhow, it was the hit before this, but not too many people had heard it. It was this album here that everybody was really listening to. And then, of course...
This is the one I think probably really broke them.
Yeah.
And then when Special Forces came out, it just...
Yeah, there was Caught Up in You, and then there was...
Then they did the Teachers soundtrack.
Yeah. And they did...
Well, they did the title, Teacher, Teacher.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they did the main song to that record.
And they had Third Stage, I think it was, and
Oh, dude,
they had like 3 or 4 big albums after this.
Because I got this one in Special Forces.
Yeah.
See, I would never thought about picking 38 Special.
And
I'm glad you did.
this guy quit the band, and they had a fella that sang with them for, I think it was This Heart Needs a Second Chance, had that album on it.
Yeah.
And he wound up going and singing for Grand Funk Railroad.
Oh, he did.
Yeah, and I seen them at the State Fair when Bruce Kulick was with them.
Oh, Bruce.
He went when Bruce left Kiss. He went to be with the Grand Funk Railroad,
I did not know that.
and so they were together.
FYI.
And I had no idea that this guy was the singer for 38 Special.
Who knew, right?
And he sang that Heart Needs a Second Chance.
Yeah.
And Bruce played.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Yeah.
I would have never thought of pulling out a 38 Special record.
Yeah.
You got me on that.
I'll try to get a variety here.
Yeah. Well, you know, I can't do an episode like this here without pulling out Maiden.
Okay. Well, I left my Kiss at home because everybody knew Destroyer and Rock and Roll. I already told them that. So.
But you know, you could pick any Kiss record.
They were my go-to.
Oh, if anybody who knows you.
But I get it. I could have pulled out any of them Kiss.
Yeah, and you could have ran up the flagpole and everybody would have believed every word.
Yeah. This is your Iron Maiden, huh?
Yes, this is, other than the first Iron Maiden record release,
Yeah.
this is be my number 2 pick. There's something about the first one it's just so raw sounding. But the first time I heard this record, I went, oh my, I didn't think music could sound this good. You know, being a heavy metal band, playing this type of music. This here's the original, you know, it has like the rough
It's a little thinner, isn't it?
Yeah, it's
Is it
not
thinner?
It's a little bit thinner. I mean, it's pretty well chewed up, as you can see. But, you know, I don't care about that. And the record's it's a pretty good condition. You know, it's an OG. But yeah, there's not one bad song off this record. Because I know, because we used to have like these little discussions.
Let's see the songs.
It's like, I'd say, well, Brett, that Kiss record sucks. Mm-hmm. You said, well, Maiden sucks.
Yeah.
I said, I know.
Well,
I mean, you start off with Aces High. I mean,
this
It's got 2 Minutes to Midnight on it.
Now, I remember that as when MTV.
Yes, they played the bejesus out of it.
And that helped a lot of bands that MTV did.
Yes, it did.
I will say that my brother had this on cassette now.
Yeah.
When the cassette started getting to be better quality,
Yes.
and the sound started sounding good, sometimes on certain groups we would just buy the cassette. Now I kind of wish he would have bought the albums like I did, so that we could still have the album. And
Yeah, because this one here, because the original, I believe, was an orange peel. Yeah, this one here, this is the original because it's got that orange peel to it. Can you see it?
okay,
Yeah, it's got that orange peel to it. This is
is it the design of this?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Which is, it has,
Egyptian.
yes, has like that rippled like effect to it.
I like that.
Yeah. But yeah, this is my second favorite Maiden record. I will be doing my top 10 Maiden records ever.
We'll be looking forward to that one.
Boy, something, I honestly hope so.
Yeah.
Because I can inform. This, of course, as you know, this will be, you'll be seeing this record again.
Yeah.
Actually, I have it as a tattoo.
Oh, that's cool. Oh, we'll show everybody out in YouTube land.
But I can't see it. But whatever the case.
Yeah.
Well, and I actually have their first record album tattoo right there.
Oh, okay.
I'm here all day.
Yeah.
I like Maiden.
Yeah.
I know it's probably a little corny.
Oh, yeah. That's all right.
I mean, people probably think it's as corny as hell, so
Right.
I don't care.
Tell us some more about this. Name some of these other songs. Why are they so good?
Why are they so good? Well, because they're Maiden.
Yeah.
That's one reason. Well, of course, you got Aces High, the very first song.
They usually start out with that one, don't they?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
And then you come off with 2 Minutes to Midnight, which is, excuse me.
That's a great introduction. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a great song.
It's like Hold On Loosely, homemade metal.
Really, I mean, if
It
you
is.
that's
your answer to 38
because
Special.
I believe actually 38 Special opened up for Iron Maiden.
Are you serious?
Yes. I'm here all day. Lucifer Words, Bigger Aura. It's an instrumental.
Uh-huh.
It fits with the whole theme
Right.
of everything. Then you have Flash of the Blade.
Oh.
They actually used that song in a movie.
Oh, yeah.
I'm having because it starts off with like the guitars, before Thunderstruck type deal. Almost has that same vibe,
Oh, okay.
but better. Oh, it was in the movie The Creepers.
Okay.
Creepers is in that movie.
So it's a scary movie?
Yeah, it's like a girl who controlled insects or whatever, sometimes. But yeah, that song is in it. It actually has a Motorhead song in it too.
Oh, okay.
A song called Locomotive, which is probably the heaviest Motorhead song ever put to vinyl.
Wow.
It's just it fits with Motorhead. Locomotive. All right, then the next one's The Duelist. There's not one bad song on this record. Then you have side 2, Back in the Village, which is a underrated song. Power Slave. The song itself, it's a long song, but it's phenomenal. Then you had Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner.
I heard that one.
I actually got to see him.
I would have to say that'd be one of my favorites. That one and 2 Minutes to Midnight.
It's a good record.
And Aces High.
Anymore?
No.
You have to listen to Flash of the Blade.
Yeah.
You will not be.
I think I remember it.
You will not be
I've
disappointed.
heard all of these over a period of time, but
I mean, if anybody was to buy an Iron Maiden record, I would definitely suggest this one, then go to Peace of Mind, then Number of the Beast. Number of the Beast is probably my 4th best what I think is their best record.
right.
I'm not putting Killers in. I'd probably put Killers at number 5.
But when you think about that, those 3 albums that you just mentioned,
Yes.
those have all the songs that the people want to hear
Yes.
when they go to see Iron Maiden.
It's not like Kiss. Kiss, they have their,
Yep.
you know what to expect.
Yeah.
With Maiden, you know what to expect.
Right.
If they play Aces High,
Right. Oh yeah, yeah.
You know,
Because you know where you're going to get.
you're gonna get right down to type.
They start out right out of the gate as something that's a classic song to you
Yes.
and one of your favorites, and it's just like you're here,
Yep.
we're here.
See
This is it.
what I like what they're doing on their tour now.
Yeah.
They're actually playing Alexander the Great, which is also Somewhere in Time
Okay.
album,
Yeah.
which is the first time they've ever played the song because they've had a big calling for it. They want them to start bringing out some of their older music.
Somewhere in Time was probably a step back compared to the direction they were heading. It didn't measure up to these others.
See, that's one thing about Maine. All their records have a theme to them.
Eddie changed. Eddie changed. Like the Peace of Mind, he had his skull cut open and
Well, yeah.
his brain.
And this is where this stemmed from.
Yeah, he became the mummy.
Yep. But it's anybody out there who wants to get your first record. I mean, you can go with Number of the Beast. You can go with Peace of Mind is just a phenomenal record, top to bottom. But this one here, 1984 record, it's just perfect. Not one bad song on the record.
Now,
Of course, it all starts with the cover.
yeah, exactly. And let's touch on that for a minute.
We can touch.
So if you're just now, maybe some of the young guys out there that are, well, who's this Iron Maiden people?
Yeah.
Well, another way to lure them into buying Iron Maiden albums is for the album covers, because we were just saying there's a story to everything, and when you follow Eddie from the beginning and what he looked like, kind of like what you got on your arm there, and
on the jacket too.
yeah, and then you seen what he did in Killers. And then you seen what happened in Peace of Mind, and then you saw what happened in the Somewhere in Time. He got a little different. He was, and I'm not that savvy on Iron Maiden storylines, but it seemed like a lot of it jived with him on the album and the songs.
Yes.
So like this is all kind of pyramid theme, Egypt theme. And the one I like is Seventh Son of a Seventh Son. And I love that album. Now, I don't really know so much the story behind it, but where Eddie was at in that was kind of the era I liked.
Yeah.
But
Torn in Half and Rebirth and everything.
yeah, but when Eddie would come out on the stage for different albums, a lot of people remember the old footage when he came out, like on this Number of the Beast with the bushy hair and the ripped T-shirt.
See, that is one tour from I would have loved to have been 16, 17 during that time. Could have would love to see that. You know, because I think they were opening up for Judas Priest at that point in time.
Oh yeah.
They were in what was it? Their Screaming for Vengeance tour or something like that. Around 82.
Oh, 83.
83 or 80 or something like that.
Yeah.
But Maiden never headlined in 83.
Yeah.
It was after Number of the Beast is when that album.
Priest might open for him.
No. No, Maiden weren't there yet.
Yeah.
But that Number of the Beast really, it skyrocketed them. It really put them up over the, and then ever since then, you know, they've been headline tours ever since.
Now, what would you call them?
Who's that?
Maiden. I'd call them classic rock by today's standards.
Oh,
but they are metal. So maybe it's classic metal.
Well, they were metal up to, I mean, you could say Somewhere in Time has some metal aspects to it.
Yeah.
But you can hear a lot of progressive rock, which is what I think that's where Seventh Son of a Seventh Son, they really turned into prog. Then it seemed like when they came out with No Prayer for the Dying, I believe that record.
Yeah.
They went back to their old ways. You know, not necessarily this record, but more like a Peace of Mind type.
Right.
That more driving.
So they weren't by no means a hair band.
Oh God, no.
And they were by no means like thrash, like Slayer or somebody.
Oh no.
But they were kind of in between. They were in that. They had that sound, that metal sound that you heard in the 80s.
Yes. It was the whole landscape of all the bands back in, like with Iron Maiden, you had Motorhead, then you had Priest, you had all these bands jockeying, and you had Saxon as well mixed in with all that.
Yeah.
Jockeying for who can come out with the best
Right.
heavy metal record. Me personally, I think, being a little biased,
Right.
I think they outdid everybody.
Do you think would you classify them as the founders of what we call heavy metal? Or would you say maybe Judas Priest or somebody like that?
See, that's a subject because, okay, we can get into this. I mean, people say, Black Sabbath, with their first record, was the beginning of heavy metal. I disagree
Okay.
wholeheartedly, only because Deep Purple released a record called In Rock. If anybody's ever heard that record,
Yeah.
dude, it's pretty heavy. I mean, there's the whole aspect of that album is nothing but heavy metal. And then, of course, Black Sabbath, they had that song Black Sabbath. Then they tried to, then as the years went on, they saying that Black Sabbath was the inventors of it, or whatever the case may be. It's a scary song, that's it.
Has a little darkness to it.
Yeah, it has darkness.
But it's heavy.
Yeah.
But I would classify it more heavy rock. It's a little harder rock than hard rock.
Yes.
But I wouldn't call it metal stuff like this is.
Oh no, it's not even close.
Yeah.
I mean, if this was released the same year as Black Sabbath's first record, you wouldn't even know it, because this here would absolutely obliterate it. Or even the Killers record
Right.
would have smoked that thing out of the water.
Right.
See, a lot of people forget, you had bands like UFO when they released Phenomenon. That record, that's the first record they released with Michael Schenker. His guitar playing on that thing is just stupid good. I don't know, because that first Black Sabbath record, it's more doomy, but it's a blues record. Of course, that's where heavy metal stemmed from, was the blues.
Right.
It's just, I think Black Sabbath, they really hit that heavy metal mark with the record you showed, the Heaven and Hell record.
I got you.
That's my opinion.
Yeah.
I'm sticking with it.
Well, I agree with that.
And there's like other bands. People forget about the band Rainbow.
But your buddy here, he's been in part of a lot of that.
I tell you what, man, them Rainbow records, the first two, bud,
Yeah.
it's hard to say that,
Yeah.
because they were released in 75 and 76.
Right.
And they were, to me, that's where I think heavy metal really took a big jump.
Right.
With that second Rainbow record, dude, it's anything that Black Sabbath released up to that point. When that record hit, I think I wouldn't really say it null and voided anything Sabbath came out with, because Sabbath put out Massive Reality, Paranoid, and them records. They're phenomenal records. I like them records.
They're a little different than that earlier stuff.
Yeah. I mean, you got to figure when they released that first Sabbath record, and then they released, I think it was Paranoid, their second record. Then you had, Volume 4, it came out and stuff. That was the fourth
But that
record.
was the earlier stuff.
Yeah.
And when Black Sabbath evolved,
Yes.
they started going more the direction Ozzy was going to want to go anyhow.
Yeah.
Never Say Die was pretty much an Ozzy album now that we know Ozzy.
Yeah.
If you listen to that, you're like, is that Black Sabbath or is that Ozzy?
I mean, like on those records, I mean, there's some good songs on them, but they were so jacked out of their mind.
It wasn't, by the time Never Say Die came around, it wasn't dark. It wasn't what I'd call heavy metal.
No, not even close.
It was hard rock. Might have been a little harder than hard rock, but not.
Because you got to figure Motorhead, when they came out, I think it was 77, around that time. Then they released their second record, Overkill. To me, that's when thrash metal, that song, thrash metal's when it was invented. But, sort of.
Yeah.
You could take that record and you take the second Rainbow record,
Yeah.
because you listen to the song A Light in the Black, you listen to that song, Cozy Powell's drumming. He was the double bass through the whole song.
Right.
Through the whole song. This song is just, to me, well, I would have to say, "A Light in the Black" is the first thrash metal song ever, and it's a straight up great record.
Right.
Rainbow Rising. If anybody out there who wants to listen to a good hard rock metal record, Rainbow Rising.
I'll have to look that one up.
But yeah, the song "A Light in the Black," that's when thrash metal become what it is. Of course, it took a few years. Of course, you had Cozy Powell doing his drumming.
Right.
Then you had Tommy Arledge with Black Oak, Arkansas, doing his stuff. Those two drummers right there are the ones who really put thrash metal, kicked it out there.
I got you.
And then, of course, then the Motorhead record,
Right.
Overkill came. Just that song, Overkill, do the whole song.
Yeah. I hear you.
And that was by accident.
I think you've explained this a lot. You've answered my question.
Well,
And
I try.
You kind of give me kind of that genre, really, of the 70s and how it evolved.
but I tell you what, anybody out there, listen to the Rainbow Rising record. If you want to, you can listen to all the records that Black Sabbath released up to that Rainbow Rising record when it came out. Dude, it is night and day. To me personally, I think Rainbow and Deep Purple are the inventors of heavy metal.
Okay.
Of course, Deep Purple put the doom into it.
Right.
Oh, I'm sorry. Black Sabbath. Black Sabbath put that doom with Ozzy into it.
Right.
On the first few records, and then, like Sabotage. That's a great record, man.
I got you.
I mean, that's...
Well, you're leading into something. Ain't this funny how you
It's
can
a
go
segue.
back and forth?
It's a segue.
It's a segue to this.
Oh, boy. That's a good record.
So I remember the summer of whatever this was, 80 or 81.
80. That's the first record.
Believe it or not, I bought this and the 38 Special on the same day because I couldn't decide which one I wanted. And so I said, I think they got a deal where you could buy two or something. It was, like I said, it was at Rinks.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, well, I'll buy this. And I'd had a Black Sabbath poster on the wall, Black and White Album magazine.
Is Over the Mountain on this?
Yeah, no, it's on the other one.
Okay.
But anyways, anyhow, so I got this and went and played them, and right out of the sleeve, I don't know that guitar. It was Randy Rhoads, man,
Yeah.
and I never heard. I didn't know Randy Rhoads straight up. All I know is he was a guitarist on this album.
And the thing is, a lot of people don't know that he was a guitarist in Quiet Riot.
He was. But Quiet Riot really didn't become famous till after that.
Yes.
Crazy Train. I mean, we hear Crazy Train more now than we ever did.
Yes, we did.
Goodbye to Romance. What a wonderful, wonderful slow ballad.
Yeah.
Ozzy did himself good to get out of Black Sabbath.
Yeah.
And do this.
Well, we had good writers on this album.
Yeah.
And we can get into that too.
D and Suicide Solution.
Yep.
Mr. Crowley. I mean, the organ on that, the pipe organ.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. If you got a nice stereo set up and you play that, oh my gosh, it's like you're in a cathedral.
For people don't realize, they just reissued these first two Ozzy records, yes.
But do they have everybody on it? Because I'd heard that Sharon didn't want Bob Daisley
Which is
on the recordings.
the bass player.
Yeah.
You know who because when they reissued these here, on CD, they had the bass player for Metallica playing, and Tommy Arledge, playing on the drums, yeah.
Because this is Lee Kerslick.
And what people don't realize, Lee and Bob wrote the song.
Oh, so if they put them on the album now, they got to give them rights.
Yes.
And so they took them off and redubbed it, re-recorded.
Yep. But it still doesn't matter. They still wrote the songs.
No Bone Movies. Revelation, Mother Earth, and Steal Away the Night. Did I say a song that you don't recognize? Did I say a song to out there that anybody here don't like? I don't think I did.
It's a straight up good record, man.
And No Bone Movies. I mean, to some might say that's what we call the filler. It's not a filler.
No.
That is not a filler. And you play that in the car.
Yep.
That was a great memory. Playing that in the car.
So
going down
people
the road.
don't. Their drummer in that band used to be in Uriah Heep.
Oh yeah.
Yes, sir.
So you need to look at that to educate anything you want to ask questions about.
I don't know about this.
You know it straight out of your brain, don't you?
It's a good record.
And so Ozzy, he left Black Sabbath, and of course Dio was in the band for how many years? A couple years up until this point. And his direction he was going was like Sabotage, Never Say Die. Those was like the last two, weren't they? Of Black Sabbath. I know Never Say Die was the last Black Sabbath that he had.
Yeah.
But honestly, I wasn't really into Black Sabbath, but I got into Ozzy.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh man.
He's got that voice.
I like Ozzy.
Yeah, he's got that distinctive voice, you know.
And I didn't know, all this Prince of Darkness stuff and all that. That wasn't even out. That wasn't even his persona.
Yeah.
Early on.
Yeah.
And then he did Diary of a Madman. And it was like not even a year, was it, before it came out?
About like a year or so. Like,
And, you'd almost, when you pull your records out, you almost just want to pull Blizzard of Oz and Diary of a Madman out.
mm-hmm. It's
If
funny.
it was a gatefold and
It's
they were
funny
like a
because
double album.
I almost picked Diary of a Madman to bring out,
Yeah.
But it's
But,
like, it's
This is my original from when I bought it. Ain't too bad a shape.
pretty good shape. I mean, you're
Well, I
going
played this a lot more than I did that Judas Priest I showed you. But yeah, that's a solid.
it's a crazy cover. It's a cool cover.
If you're not into Ozzy, you better give him a chance with this one.
Yeah. Actually, this was like the whole marketing thing. They wanted to put Ozzy out there, but the actual name of the band, which was supposed to be the marquee on this record, was Blizzard of Oz.
Oh.
Yeah. That was the name of the band.
So it wasn't going to be Ozzy Osbourne's
Right.
Blizzard of Oz.
It was going to be Blizzard of Oz, but marketing said, something, he was in Black Sabbath.
Yeah.
You
So
know,
they had
so
to put his name out.
yeah, they put his name on it, and that left a pretty bad taste.
So it's kind of like Alice Cooper. Alice Cooper
Yeah,
is what we call Alice Cooper, but that really ain't it. The band was originally the Alice Cooper.
yeah, it's out.
But now we call him Alice Cooper.
Yeah,
But this was Ozzy Osbourne. It was supposed to be in Blizzard of Oz.
Yep.
But now it's Ozzy Osbourne's Blizzard of Oz album.
yeah.
See, I thought originally it was Ozzy Osbourne and the Blizzard of Oz. The Blizzard of Oz was his backing band.
Yeah.
But I don't think that ever panned out either. It was just,
Well, there was a lot of it broke loose pretty bad.
Mm-hmm.
That I don't know, man. Because when they released that third record, what the hell's the name of it? Bark at the Moon.
yeah.
Of course
He had a little money by then.
he was still
Oh, yeah.
blowing it away.
Yeah.
But they released "Speak of the Devil," which was a live record.
Yeah.
Basically a tribute, but it was Sabbath songs.
Right.
And they had Bragg Gillis and Rudy
Well,
Sarzo.
Randy had died by that point.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they got of course Bragg Gillis. His
Night Ranger.
Night Ranger. Then they had Rudy Salazar.
Yeah.
Which you played for.
Yeah.
Played with Randy and Quiet Riot. Got him, and I think Tommy Arledge was drumming at that point as well. So
I saw somewhere where there's a rock and roll family tree, a diagram
yeah.
of the just like you would your family tree with a line and what was in it, and it would branch down to another family and another family, and you would see like that your Tommy Aldridge and where he was connected, and your
He's
Rudy
connected there.
Sarzo.
He played for everybody. It seemed like.
And there's they all meet at some point, just like your Deep Purples and your Rainbows and your Black Sabbaths.
Yep.
They all meet.
They're all linked one way or the other.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool.
Yeah. And I'd like to find that and print it off.
Yeah.
Have it on paper. You could put it on your wall. It'd have to be pretty big.
There's no doubt.
But But you just named off a bunch of famous people that we recognize.
Yeah.
And
But I mean, anybody who wants to do that, I mean, you could pump up, just punch up on Google, Tommy Arledge,
Yep.
and then you can see everybody who he played for.
Yeah.
Well, that was a good one.
That was a pretty good answer to your Iron Maiden, wasn't it?
Actually, it was. Here's a band called Fu Manchu,
Oh.
King of the Road. This is what you call 100% stoner rock.
Oh, King of the Road. That was, what was that guy's name? Country guy.
Yes. I know who you're... Oh, wow.
He was the rooster on Robin Hood.
Oh, damn it. I'm going to be thinking too hard.
You know who I'm talking about. You know the song, King of the Road. It's in your brain. You can just, it's better than me thinking of that 38 Special song, which now I did find out what
I don't know why, but...
that 38 Special song, that album was rocking into the night. It just came to me when I was trying to think about who this King of the Road guy was.
I'll tell you what, I am going... Roger Miller.
Roger Miller.
That's it.
Is that like a Roger Miller song?
Well... Maybe the title of the song.
Yeah.
That's about as far as it goes. I got into this band because of Brent Beaver.
Oh, okay.
And anybody who knows...
Did he play guitar for him? Because he played guitar for a lot of bands.
Brent's pretty good.
Okay.
But Brent got me into this band because at that point in time, he was in the Rubes, and they were playing stoner rock too, and he tuned me into a lot of stoner rock. But... when I got into Fu Manchu, my daughter hated it because that's all I played.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, this here is it's a
heavy. Is it 2 albums? Yeah.
Yep.
Huh. Hell on Wheels, Over the Edge, Boogie Van.
Boogie Van is really good.
King of the Road, No Dice.
Yep.
Blue Tile Fever.
Yep.
Grasshopper, Weird Beard.
Weird Beard.
Is that how it sounds?
Yeah.
Hot Doggin'.
Yeah.
Freedom of Choice, Breathing Fire, and Hang Glider. Huh, that's cool.
The song Freedom of Choice on this record is a remake of a Devo song.
Oh yeah. Huh.
Anybody YouTube it.
Yeah.
The song Freedom of Choice and even the song King of the Road is really good. It's Hell on Wheels is really good. Hot Doggin'. There's not one bad song on this record. They're a Southern California band. As you can see, they like to boogie in the van.
So there's all their bands, you think?
Well, no, I don't know.
There's got to be.
It's just a crew.
Somebody set up a picture.
Yeah. But I wouldn't be surprised if they do. But I guess the guitarists and stuff
kind of fit their
vibe.
Yeah.
With the stoner rock.
Right.
If anybody back in the '70s had a van,
yeah,
it was smoking when you were popping
what
out.
we see on Woodstock footage and stuff like that.
Bingo.
Yeah.
But yeah, anybody, this is another go-to record for stoner rock, I believe.
That's cool. I can tell it's hippie-like because the curtains in there.
Bingo, and the guitars are fuzz driven, but it's a hard hitting record.
But they use Ford vans instead of Volkswagens. Huh.
Yeah, of course that Southern California, the vans are probably abundance.
Right.
Of course, you can get vans like that probably down in Mexico for next to nothing because they really don't have the mean winters or and stuff like that.
Are these guys still together? You think?
Yeah, they still tour.
Fu Manchu's the name of the band.
Yes, sir.
King of the Road is the title of the album.
Yes, sir.
And they've got several other albums, I'm sure.
Oh, they've got a few records.
Yeah, that's cool.
But yeah, they actually did a cover of a Blue Oyster Cult song called Godzilla.
Oh yeah, I know Godzilla. They did it, huh?
Yeah,
that's pretty good.
It's pretty good.
That's probably my favorite Blue Oyster Cult song.
Yeah,
it's heavy.
It's heavy song. And Don't Fear the Reaper. That's a good one. That's the one that's
the
probably.
Problem with the Don't Fear the Reaper, it needs more cowbell.
Tunka punk. Why not?
Let's see. What have I got? Let's go with
It surprised me.
Let's go with this one.
Uh-oh.
Let's go back to some real classic rock. In my opinion, these guys, see, classic rock wasn't always called classic rock. It was just rock.
See, and another thing with the heavy metal thing,
Yeah.
their first record,
Go ahead.
dude, it fits right in there with that whole vibe. Of course,
Oh, yeah.
they released that before, Sabbath and Deep Purple released in rock.
Right.
Their first record was released in '69. And dude, let me tell you what, that is one heavy record.
Would it be safe to say that when you think of classic rock, Led Zeppelin's probably one of the first bands that come to mind?
I would say so, yes.
But they're not, they're hard rock,
Yeah.
but they're by no means what I'd call heavy or
Oh, no.
heavy metal or
You
any
got,
of that.
you got fair because most of their stuff was acoustic.
Yeah. But just about every band that has a heavier guitar player credits Jimmy Page
Yes.
for what they've done.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe some of the ones that are more our age were little. When Led Zeppelin, maybe they would credit maybe an Angus Young or an Ace Frehley or somebody before they would do Jimmy Page.
Yeah.
But for the most part, most people credit Jimmy Page.
Yeah.
I mean, Kiss credits Jimmy Page. So
And it's funny because when I had the podcast with Dave Shoemaker and stuff, I said the first time I heard Zeppelin was on their 1979 record, In Through the Outdoor. He goes, you know what's funny? He goes, I've seen him on that tour. I went,
I remember that. I saw
like-
the interview.
yeah, that was the first time I heard that. And the song off of that record that really stood out was the song Hot Dog
Huh.
on that record.
Yeah. Well, I've got all the Led Zeppelins, but I'm kind of not familiar with some of the newer, like Coda and that one. I like the older stuff.
But a lot of Coda was, actually had some live songs on it, and it has some like off-beaten type, off-filter type songs that they stuck on that record just because, Bonham at that point checked out,
Well, and you mentioned the first Led Zeppelin, and that was at the end of 16. That was 69.
Yeah.
So the music was still kind of Beatles-ish that people was buying.
Yes.
Kind of, we weren't really getting into Black Sabbath yet.
Yeah.
The Who maybe a little bit. We were just seeing these little bits and pieces of
Yep.
this heavier stuff coming in.
The Who was pretty heavy back in.
Yeah.
When they released Who's Next. Mm-hmm. Won't Get Fooled Again.
But-
That's good.
But for the most part, 60s heavy rock was Stones,
Yeah.
Beatles,
Which is more rock and roll than anything.
right. But when Zeppelin came out, they had a little extra kick
They had
to
that
their.
had grit to it, especially that first record.
And this album, now a lot of people, when they pull out their favorite Led Zeppelin, they'll pull out Houses of the Holy or something like that.
They dog this record.
But this, for some reason, is one that stands out because Black Dog is
Started off.
a huge Led Zeppelin song.
Yeah.
If Led Zeppelin was together today, Black Dog would have to be on their set list.
Oh, easily.
And then rock and roll. Rock and roll is what starts every concert before
Yeah.
it or the Who.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Battle of Evermore wasn't a bad thing. And then, of course, they went into Stairway to Heaven. And Stairway to Heaven is like the king of all metal or medley
Long songs.
rock and roll.
Well, that one, and you can say Free Bird
Yep.
and Hotel California.
Yeah.
I do not understand why people hate those songs. I understand they're overplayed like you would not believe. But when you actually sit down and listen to those three songs, that song,
Yeah.
Hotel California, and Freebird, they are so put together
Yeah.
masterfully. I mean,
Well, I can't think that anybody would ever turn the channel on the radio if Stairway to Heaven came on.
Like these
unless they were busy doing something. But
yeah,
if you're driving down the road and you ain't got anything else to do and Stairway to Heaven comes on,
you're listening to it.
you ain't gonna turn the channel.
Because I know my wife, she cannot stand this band.
Oh, yeah?
Which that's fine. I mean,
Well,
because this record here was so overplayed.
Andrea and I have a joke that if Led Zeppelin's on, I'll say, who sings that song? And she always gets it wrong. She always says Leonard Skinner. I said, no, it ain't Leonard Skinner.
She's playing with it.
It's
She
Led
knows.
Zeppelin. But anyways, Misty Mountain Hop, Four Sticks, Going to California, and When the Levee Breaks. Well, When the Levee Breaks is a good one to end this on. So this is a good album. I don't know why there would be people that would dog that album. But it is, in my opinion, when I think of a classic rock, this is definitely the album of classic rocks right here. This is my go-to Led Zeppelin album.
Yes. I don't know if anybody's ever heard the live version of Misty Mountain Hop.
No, I haven't.
It is probably one of the heaviest things you ever heard, especially the drums.
Yeah.
You know, of course, John Paul Jones playing the organ. That's all he's doing.
Right.
Then you hear the drums. Dude, it's off the Song Remains the Same. But
Okay, well, I've got that. I'll have to re-listen to that.
I don't think it's on the record itself.
Oh, okay.
But it's on like the DVD, like an offshoot song.
From the movie.
Yeah, that they cut out of that, which I think is one of the best songs off of that concert if they would have left it on there.
That's awesome.
Because I'll play it for you here when we.
Yeah.
Dude, it is so good.
That's great.
It's so good. I mean, Bonham's got his gold drum set. You know when he played in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the drums are so loud.
Right.
Of course, he hit like a hammer. He's the lead in Zeppelin.
What caused him to die? Do you know?
Well, I think it was drinking.
Oh.
I think that's all.
But he had 2 albums he wasn't on.
No, he was on every one record.
Okay.
Every Zeppelin record.
Okay.
Except for Celebration Day. His boy played on that one, which is when they played in Britain, in London or whatever. At the O2 Arena or something like that.
I don't think I have that one. That was a more recent.
Oh yeah. It's from like maybe 7-8 years ago or whenever it
I'll
was.
have to look for that one. I think that's been on CD. Maybe it didn't come out on.
Yeah.
I had the remasters on a CD where you opened a book up and you had a CD here, and here.
Yeah. But yeah, it's
That was back when CDs were first coming out, and everybody would go and buy the CD.
Yeah.
But it was better to buy a greatest hits or a compilation than it was to go buy all your Led Zeppelin albums.
Yeah. So much here because they put all the hits on there.
Right.
But Misty Mountain Hop, the live version, dude, it is phenomenal.
I'll have to listen to that one.
We'll tune that in.
Yeah.
It's freaking stuff.
So how are you going to follow up to Led Zeppelin?
Oh, that's easy. This is very easy. A band called Riot.
I've heard of Riot.
Fire Down Under. This is a New York band.
Okay.
That's all you need to know.
All right. Yeah.
And this,
I know another famous New York band that I follow pretty close.
it's. But yeah, this band here is a New York band. They were, as you can see, their mascot is a seal. They got a seal, it seems like on every record. Yes. But this here,
That's a fuzzy seal.
probably this here, I think this is their best record they've ever released.
Mid 80s,
Oh,
early 80s.
This is from 1981.
Okay. See, we're getting a lot of 81 today too.
Yeah, this here's a 2011 reissue of it. Just because, to find an original of this here it's pretty tough. But there's not one fart song on this record. Song Swords and Tequila, which, from classic rock radio, they've played it on there.
Right.
Song Fire Down Under, Feel the Same. Outlaw's probably my favorite song off this record. It's so good. Don't Bring Me Down. Side 2 starts off with Don't Look Back, Altar of the King, No Lies, Run for Your Life, and Flashback. But yeah, anybody out there, this is
Who was some of the guys in that group?
Mark Riley, guitar, Sandy Slavin, drums, Rick Ventura, guitar, Guy Speranza, lead vocals, and Kip Lemming on bass.
What was it? Was there a video to this? Because I remember seeing a Riot video.
Well, I've probably posted on Facebook because when with their second lead singer, Rhett Forrester.
Ring a bell. Seems like I remember it on a night flight when I was younger.
Oh yeah, probably. Yeah, they probably played Swords and Tequila, which is,
That's cool.
I mean, like I say, there's not one fart song on this whole record. I mean, he ended up, Guy Speranza left the band for whatever reason he left. Then some years later, he ended up dying of cancer and stuff like that. Great singer.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess at the direction that they were going, you know, his voice wasn't going to fit with the band. Which, you listen to his voice, it's just, he had a great voice. But yeah.
Yeah, that's too bad.
But yeah, anybody who's looking for a good hard rock record.
Was they able to continue on, or they pretty much called quits?
Well, there's no original members in the band anymore, but they still play like the big hits and stuff from like the early years and stuff like that. Their first record actually came out in '79. So, but yeah, they started out as a '70s band. Did their touring around New York and this and that, you know. But yeah,
How about that?
it's a phenomenal record. I mean, you will not be disappointed if you go to a record store, whatever the case may be, you find on CD, or if you find it on vinyl. You can't go wrong with it. This is probably, I thought, was their pinnacle. You know, this is their third record.
That's cool.
You know, so it's like, say, you know, they're on every record. It seems like they got this damn seal. It's on a human body, you know.
Well, you know, Iron Maiden has Eddie, so they have a seal.
Bingo. And Kiss had makeup.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay.
See what this guy's got.
All right.
What does this guy got?
Now, this band that I'm going to show you next, it's kind of a confusing band to me. And they have a lot of fans that like them for different eras and different albums.
Which I get.
And it was a toss-up between this album and the one before. And I'm actually more like the one before it, but I pulled this one up.
Okay. I would be surprised.
I'm more of a diver down kind of guy, but this really has some good songs on it that everybody can relate to.
Half a teacher.
So
It's a good song.
they put this out at a time when video, and this is an original. This is not a street beat though. I don't believe it's from something else. $5.99
$6, boys and girls.
in 1984. Well, 83, but it was called 84.
Yeah.
And I don't know, man. It was just Van Halen they were heavier.
Yeah.
And of course, Gene founded them.
Yeah.
And I think my brother had one of the earlier ones on 8-track. And then he wound up getting it on record album.
Yeah.
The second one or the other. Either the first album
Van
or the
Halen
second.
2. That's probably my
One he had on 8-track and one he had on album.
Yeah.
And then he wound up with Cradle Will Rock. Well, then after
Women and
that,
Children First. Yeah.
yeah, Women, Children First.
It's a good record.
So after that, we kind of drifted away from them a little bit.
Yeah.
And so David Lee Roth was kind of a quirky guy to me. So he was
Little quirky.
he was kind of hard for me to take, and I really wasn't a big David Lee Roth fan.
Yeah.
But so they didn't really stick with me too much.
Yeah.
In fact, when Hagar joined them, I think he brought a whole different group of fans in.
Well, he had a pretty good career leading up to that.
Yeah. Now, I like Hagar with Van Halen.
Me too.
But it seems like I liked him better by himself. That might just be me. But what Hagar was already doing, and especially coming out of Montrose like he did, I think.
But it's funny because when he went out in Montrose, he took the band with him.
Yeah. Yeah. But, you know, this album, in '84, this was my junior year in high school. You know, everybody was listening to it. Jump and Hot for Teacher and
Panama. Drop Dead Legs.
Panama is probably my favorite, heaviest Van Halen songs as far as the good guitar in that. But so that's why I kind of leaned more to this one as my go-to.
Yeah.
But over the years in my record collecting, as I've gotten older, one album that between me and my brother that we didn't have was Fair Warning. and I've gotten it in the more recent years.
That's a good record.
And you know that's a solid record. There's
It's
not really a bad song on that.
It's a heavy record too.
Yeah, and it seemed like it got lost in the fold in the
shuffle.
mix.
It's an oddball cover.
But with Van Halen, with me, it was Diver Down and this, and then there was nothing.
Yeah.
Till OU 812 and 5150.
And they're good records.
And then I tried the For Our Unlawful Carnal Knowledge on CD.
Yeah.
And it was just okay. Pound Cake, I think, was on it.
Yes.
And then after that, you know, I had the live on CD, the double live, where Hagar sang some of these songs.
Yeah.
It just didn't
gel.
It wasn't holding up its weight.
You know what? There's a thing about this cover. I don't know how true it is, but they say this is actually David Lee Roth's baby picture. Whether that's true or not.
Yeah. Well, it ranks up there as probably one of the more popular classic rock albums, I'd say.
I'd say so, yes.
You know, worldwide.
Yeah.
I don't know what it sold, but Diver Down, the reason I liked it was, of course, the introduction. That's like the greatest guitar introduction on that album. What's it called? Is that Eruption?
Off their first record, yes.
No, what's the one that he did leading up to?
Pretty Woman?
Pretty Woman.
Intruder.
So Intruder was
Now,
that was pretty wild, and then going right into Pretty Woman. So that's the reason I like Diver Down so well.
Yeah.
But I had to go with the 84 for your pick.
Here's one.
Grim Reaper.
Hey, I think this is from 1984, a record called See You in Hell.
Now, I've heard of Grim Reaper.
Yep. This here's the...
Jeez.
Oh, what the hell are you doing?
I caught on something here. All your records are on it.
There we go. Getting all jacked up here, boys and
Oh,
girls.
you're taped up. Okay.
Yeah, this is from like 1984, I believe. First time I got this, got it on cassette way back when. And, of course, got that street beat.
Mm-hmm.
That's like, everybody else, it seemed like. But, yeah, they're more of like the second wave of British heavy metal, so to speak, And I really got drawn to the cover, which is, a Grim Reaper. So...
Which, to me, tells me that's death metal.
Nope.
It ain't?
Nope.
What is it?
It's heavy metal.
Heavy metal.
Yes, sir. Of course, it starts off with See You in Hell,
Okay.
Dead on Arrival, Liar, Wrath of the Reaper, Now and Never, Run for Your Life, Show Must Go On, and All Hell Broke Loose.
Oh.
Well, All Hell Let Loose, I'm sorry. But yeah, you want something a little bit off kilter of, the British heavy metal type stuff. This would be a good record to start off with.
Did they do any videos?
Yes.
So Headbangers Ball would probably have it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. I mean, you can YouTube it, on the early Grim Reaper and stuff, or even punch in See You in Hell. See, what really I think threw these guys off, the dude was a phenomenal singer. He had that real high, but he can hit the lows and stuff like that, but the dude wasn't pretty. He wasn't pretty.
He looked like the Grim Reaper.
He was rough. He was rough, But, he had a big head like a St. Bernard, but boy, he could sing.
That's good.
But yeah, it's a good one to check out.
Yeah.
I mean, I really listened to a good bit of this record.
Lots of times, and I do mention a lot of videos when I talk.
Yeah.
Because I'm more of a visualist. I like to see.
I'm right there with you.
So it's better for me if I can find a video of the group and watch them than it is to find it on Spotify or something.
Or even like before you, if a band has some new stuff coming out.
Right.
You could go up on YouTube or whatever the case may be.
Right.
I don't like to stream music just to listen to new stuff. But there's some occasions I do. It's like, well, that's not bad.
Yeah.
I want to hear what else is on this record before I even think about. But yeah, I mean, you and I doing this type of thing, what we're doing today, maybe give people a little bit different the view on how we see this stuff.
Yeah, so far what I've seen from you is you're pretty heavy stuff. I mean, I think you like the stuff I had,
Yeah.
but this is more you. This is your style.
Yeah, this is stuff that I it's really not go-tos, but it is, but it's not.
Mm-hmm.
But I like to put this out
You
here.
want to showcase it.
Yeah, showcase to people, like, check this out a little bit. You may not like it.
People that don't know you that well are kind of seeing a little different side of you when we see these records that you're pulling out.
Oh yeah.
But I know you well enough to know what your background was. I didn't know this is quite this heavy. I thought maybe I'd see a little bit of Elvis Presley or something in there, but
Hey, don't get me wrong. I mean, I like Elvis, but he put that, he put some stank on it.
yeah,
In his Southern way.
Right.
With them old
yeah.
blues songs that he was listening to back when he was a youngster.
Oh, I know it very well. I was leading up to that.
Yeah.
Well, Elvis was pretty much him and Jerry Lee Lewis,
Chuck Berry,
those three guys, when I think of the early inventors of
and Little Richard
rock and roll,
as well.
But Elvis
He had to look.
he was king for a reason.
He had to look and he had the moves.
Yeah. And this album here this was before Kiss in my household. I think this is the one my brother got.
Yeah.
And
Your brother pretty old, ain't he?
well, what happened was we needed something a little different than the Kitty records that we were playing. Yeah. So we branched out into some rock and roll. And I think my aunt wound up getting him this. Said, "Why don't you listen to this guy?"
You won't be disappointed.
And Hound Dog. When I was a kid, I literally was singing in the mirror, "You ain't nothing but a hound dog." And, I'm talking about a kid like 6 years old, maybe, 5, 6. And Elvis left that impression on me. I mean, it was like, okay, this guy's pretty heavy stuff.
Yeah, he put it out there.
I mean, yeah, Led Zeppelin was going on then. Mm-hmm. The Who was going on then. Black Sabbath was going on then. But I didn't know them. I didn't know who them guys was.
But you knew Elvis.
And I knew Elvis. In fact, Kiss was on Mike Douglas' show. Mm-hmm. And I didn't even know Kiss. In fact, I saw them and it didn't stick. I was listening to Elvis. You can have your Kiss. I wanted Elvis. They just didn't jive at the time. But Elvis, and to this day, if I see somebody doing Elvis music, I stop and I listen and I watch. I'm not into so much impersonators where they're being kind of quirky and trying to be funny. Mm-hmm. I like the ones that are taking it serious and they're singing your Hound Dogs.
Speaking of
you're all shook
people
up.
who do Elvis, Aaron Jones.
He's one of the best that I've seen.
He's pretty good. He's pretty good.
There was a fella at the festival here this year. He was good too. Terry Lee Ridley.
Okay.
And he didn't really impersonate Elvis because he sung a variety of songs, but he sang some Elvis and he did the keyboards and he was good.
Doesn't Aaron do more of like the 50s?
Yeah, he did. He did the ones that's on this one.
Yeah.
But this has Loving You and All Shook Up, Heartbreak Hotel, Jailhouse Rock, Love Me, Too Much, Don't Be Cruel. That's When Your Heartache Begins. Let Me Be Your Teddy Bear.
Oh.
Love Me Tender. Treat Me Nice. Any Way You Want Me, and I Want You. I Need You. I Love You. Well, so he was a romanticist. Of course, that was what they had to sing about back in the 50s.
I reckon that's how he got Priscilla.
Probably.
At a very young age.
Yes. And got away with it. But
you're like
every album he put out
was good.
Well, I mean, it was Elvis.
Yeah.
I didn't get into all of his other stuff. Mm-hmm. I just liked this. But then as I got older, I started learning to appreciate music history. Yeah. So then I started digging in when I could go on record store day and go thumbing through these bins, and I started getting Elvis records for $1. and they were in better shape than this, where people's estate sales sold out,
Yep.
and these record places would buy their stuff and sell them for dirt cheap, and these records had been sitting just like yours on a shelf untouched for 30 or 40 years. I'm like, I'm buying this, and I've got a Elvis collection. It's probably about that wide on a shelf, and there's still more I could be buying. And
there's like thousands of Elvis records.
oh, they're endless.
Yeah.
But if you get the Moody Blue album, it's a blue vinyl.
Yeah.
And I find that a lot. And everybody thinks, oh, it's blue vinyl.
It's not rare.
It's not rare. If you find the Moody Blue that's a regular,
Black vinyl.
that's the rare one.
Yeah. You know, I actually found one.
Oh, you should have bought it.
Well, I wasn't going to pay dumb price.
Oh.
They had like $50 on it. So, no.
Yeah, somebody must have told them.
Yep.
But if you can find these in the cheap bins,
Snag them up.
you've got your nice little Elvis collection.
Here's one it's a little bit of a off kilter for you. A group called Power Trip.
Okay.
Nightmare Logic.
All right.
This is a trying to describe it, thrash metal-ish. You know, it's got that like speed metal. I don't know. It's more like a let me put it this way. It's like a stoner thrash record. If that makes any sense, without the fuzz guitars and stuff like that.
Right.
Unfortunately, the lead singer ended up passing away. But yeah, once again, there's not one bad song on this. Like I say, a lot of the songs will start off real heavy and stuff. Then it breaks down to that thrash metal, you know, breakdown and stuff. Like Executioner's Swing. No, I'm sorry, Executioner's Tax, Swing of the Axe. That song there, it's they got video out for it and stuff. Soul Sacrifice is really good. Fire and Squad, Nightmare Lodge. The whole record is really good. And they actually come out with a live record, of course, you know. And that's nothing but stuff like this. I mean, it's just a heavy live record. Like, it's basically a thrash metal record, but you know.
But it's all live.
Well, not this one.
Oh.
This here's a studio record, but I have the live record.
Okay.
But yeah, it's anybody out there, you know, Nightmare Logic from Power Trip. It's a funky cover, but I mean, you can make out, you know, like a face and stuff, you know, all this and that. But hey, anybody out there, you know, don't hesitate, you know, don't be scared by the cover or how the writing is, you know, with the feathering and whatnot of the.
Does that mean something?
Yeah, it probably does.
The Raven.
But yeah, it's the whole album, as you say, it's a power trip. But yeah, Ruin Nation on this record is so good.
Right.
It's such a heavy record.
That's cool.
Thrash metal, good stuff.
Yeah.
Seems like I'm hitting you with stoner rock and thrash metal today.
Yeah.
With a little bit of death and doom.
You are, and I'm trying to stay with the basics.
Oh, hey, you.
So we did Elvis. And that's about as old as I get. But that's a go-to Elvis record.
It's a good record go-to.
Because it's got all his good stuff.
Yeah.
But if I was going to pick this band, which would be my go-to record? And I brought my original instead of the remastered.
That'd be.
Now, I didn't have this originally. I've had this particular one for probably
This here was the End of the Road record.
20 years or more.
Wasn't it?
Huh?
This is the End of the Road for the Beatles.
This is their last album.
Yep.
Now, you think about it, this album was out when I was a baby. Well, not a baby, I was about 3 years old.
Yeah.
So it wasn't uncommon to hear Let It Be.
Yeah.
And some of the others that's on here. Let's look at them. Gotta get my glasses because it's back then everybody could read.
There you go.
Two of Us, I Dig a Pony,
That's good stuff.
Across the Universe,
Yeah.
I, Me, Mine, Dig It, Let It Be, Maggie, May. What's math? I don't know. Maggie May. I've Got a Feeling, One After 909, The Long and Winding Road, For You Blue and Get Back. Okay, now what do you think my favorite song on that?
909. That's mine. All fair.
Get Back is my favorite.
I get it.
But
That's what Billy Preston plays on, isn't it?
I think
Plays
so.
the organ.
Yeah, Billy Preston.
See, I'm here all day, bud.
So this is about 69, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
But anyhow, so I was born 67. So I didn't hear any Beatles other than what was on the radio.
Yeah.
I think my aunt liked some of the Beatles, and my sister kind of got into the Beatles a little bit, and she had the 45s. But we really didn't have much in our house as far as this kind of music. So I'd only heard the Beatles growing up from what I heard on the radio, and a lot of the stuff I heard was McCartney stuff and Lennon stuff when they were solo.
See, I actually like the solo stuff from the Beatles.
Right.
Rather than, of course, Abbey Road's still my favorite Beatles record.
Well, and I was going to get to that. I think Abbey Road and the White Album and Sgt. Pepper's are probably the three that most people go for.
Yeah.
Why I like this, it's the most modern Beatles we got.
Yeah.
And it's from an era where I was just starting to hear things.
Yeah.
And starting to
recognize,
because 3 or 4 years old, you start hearing stuff and on the radio in the car and all that, and so I didn't to touch up on my Beatles history. I didn't have any Beatles in high school, elementary, high school, nothing. I remember it was my 25th birthday, and I went and got me a Beatles cassette. It was that white Beatles cassette that had a bunch of hits on it.
Yep.
It come out around that time. Probably got it street.
Actually, I think I got the
I'm not sure what it's called.
the cassette over there.
And so anyhow, I played that on my 25th birthday because knowing that the Beatles was still together 25 years ago at that time. Can you believe that? Man. So
It's a month of Sundays.
when I listened to that, I was like, seemed like it was forever ago. Now I think 25 years ago wasn't forever ago.
Yeah.
So I was actually reinventing myself with the Beatles.
Yeah.
And at that point, I just kind of grew with it. I was starting to get into these Beatles, And I started researching a little bit about them. And of course, they were putting out box sets and remakes and remasters and everything for CDs. And so back when I got back into vinyl, which would have been the late 90s. So it wasn't too long after that, because I would have been in my late 20s, early 30s. I started finding these vinyls. And this particular vinyl here, I'd gotten down at Jesse's store. He had some Beatles. I got about 3 or 4 Beatles albums off of him. And so I was working at Lloyd's. And when I was working at Lloyd's, I took them in there and I sat them on the counter and I was like, man, Jesse gave me a heck of a deal on these old Beatles albums. And one of them was a white album. It had the posters in it and everything. And, yeah. And it was almost too good to be true. Well, the sheriff deputy came in and he wanted to know who the guy was that bought them Beatles albums. I'm like, oh man. And of course they said, well, Brett bought them and said he'll be here in a little bit. So I came in from delivering furniture and there's this deputy here. I said, Brett, somebody's here to see about them Beatles albums. I was like, oh no, it's all that sheriff. Well, I guess he had been eyeing them at Jesse's for some time and he's been wanting to buy them. And Jesse told him that he sold them to me. I thought they were hot. Kind of scared me. And so the guy said, well, I'd been checking these out and I've been wanting them and I hate it that he sold them. And he said, I was wondering if you'd want to sell them to me. So I sold him the white album that had the posters in it.
Yeah.
But this one here I kept. This one was warped. And the story on this is a good way to end this. So it was warped. The album was warped. And I mean, it literally, you couldn't hardly play it. It just had a hump in it.
Cha-ching, cha-ching,
So
cha-ching.
I started looking at ways you can unwarp an album.
Yeah.
Well, I took a flat plate, a heavy flat plate that was just as round as the album, and took a cookie sheet, like a pizza pan cookie sheet, and stuck it in the oven. Put that album right on there, and I stuck it in the oven. But I didn't realize how hot it needed to be. And needless to say, when I pulled it out, it was
Gummy.
charred. It was just a flat, you could just nothing to it. It was just like it was burnt to a crisp. So at that point, I realized that whenever you run into that problem, you should just let it be.
Just walk away.
Yeah.
Here's something a little bit more familiar. See, now,
Yeah,
see,
we talked about this one time, didn't we?
Yeah. See, I'm going back to rock and roll now.
Yeah.
There's a group called
Now you're talking more my speed here. Here, let's just put this one in this collection.
I know, come on. No, this is a rock and roll band. Fastway, I believe, what, 82-ish?
Right.
I'm sorry, 83.
See, 83. Why
83.
does these numbers just keep popping up? 81 and 83.
Well, that's our era.
Yeah.
I've listened to some good music. But yeah, this is a band that Fast Eddie Clark put together. But he was actually, it's supposed to have been him and Pete Way.
Oh, yeah, I remember Pete Way.
Of course, you know, that's where you get the Way from.
Oh,
And you
okay.
have Fast Eddie and Pete Way.
Gotcha.
Well, Pete Way bucked out at the last second. So he just stuck with the name Fastway.
Oh,
And
so Pete Way really was never on here.
No, no. And well, he may have played it, but anyways, the lead singer in this band, Dave King, he released like with this band, I think maybe 4 records. He goes, I'm done with it. You know, you didn't hear anything from him for a while. Then all of a sudden, there's this band called Flogging Molly that come out. They're like your traditional type punk rock band. Well, he formed that band, Dave King, and then they'd be in interviews and stuff, and they'd ask him, say, what about your days in Fastway? He goes, what are you talking about? I was like, dude, you're on here. So, yeah. I'd like to say there's not a bad song on this record. But yeah, it starts off with Easy Living.
It's just the 3 guys, huh?
Well, you know, you had your bass. They had someone playing bass, whatever.
They didn't credit him.
I don't think so.
See, here's the 3 guys here.
Yeah. You got Jerry Shirley on drums, Fast Eddie on guitar, Dave King on vocals.
He looks familiar to me.
Who, him?
Yes, he sung with other people.
Flogging Molly.
I'm not familiar with
Doesn't say anything. Maybe Fast Eddie Clark may have played the bass on this record. But yeah, it's got the second song, Feel Me, Touch Me, Do Anything You Want. All I Need Is Your Love by Goes in Discussion.
What was the video off of this? I know there had to be a video.
Yeah, it might have been Easy Lovin'.
That sounds familiar.
Yeah. Then you had Another Day, which is phenomenal. Heft. Then you had We Become One, which I think is the best song on this record. Give Me All You Got. Say What You Will. That's the one that was big off of this as well. You Got Me Running. Give Us Some Action. But yeah, this is from 1983. Looking for a good alternative to, you know, like when that Fast Eddie left Motorhead and stuff. He, of course, you know, he formed this band here. And,
So it branched off of Motorhead. If we do that rock and roll trio,
oh, dude, it just blows up. It blows up. But yeah, this is a criminally underrated record.
A buddy of mine had it. We listened to it in his car, but I didn't ever have that one. I had the Trick or Treat soundtrack, but that was it.
You know they reissued that one.
They did?
Yes,
Just
they
recently?
Yes,
Oh.
they reissued it.
Good album.
Yes, it is.
It was a good movie too. I liked the movie.
The movie's corny,
Yeah.
very corny, but it's funny.
Yeah.
But it's
But you could always hear him screaming in the background. Yeah.
But yeah, if you ever, like, say, you know, I could say this with every record that we've put out here today. You see them, you know, on, you know, CD, cassette, or even vinyl. Go ahead and get it.
I have to check because every now and then I'll get groups of records together, and I may have picked that up at one time. I have to look.
You
see
probably
if it's
did.
in there.
Or if I ever see it, I'll pick it up for
Well,
you.
let me check, make sure I don't have it, because sometimes I just put things in and then I forget I had them.
Yeah. But yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah,
I mean, good rock and roll record.
from '83.
Yes.
Do I got anything from '83 in here?
Yeah, hell, you might.
I gotta have an answer to that. How about this one?
Oh shit.
This is one that I'd say just about everybody had back when we was in school. It comes back to they had some good stuff on the early stuff. I mean, some really good stuff on the early stuff, but they were only popular amongst a certain crowd. And it wasn't until this album came out, and with MTV videos
Blowing up.
and 33 Fords, that
Another album full of
nothing.
There's
Nothing on there that ain't any good. Give Me All Your Lovin', Got Me Under Pressure, Sharp Dressed Man, I Need You Tonight, I Got the Six, Legs, Thug, TV Dinners, Dirty Dog, If I Could Only Flag Her Down, and Bad Girl. Now, let me tell you something. You put this album on while you're out in the garage and you're working on something.
You're shaking your hips.
Yeah. You put this for background. You're painting the wall. You're cleaning the toilet. I don't care what it is. You got this playing in the background, and you're going to get your work done. And it is great to have that. This is a good background record. It's a good record to drive down the road.
Yep.
80 mile an hour if you want.
Yep.
Or 30 mile an hour. It don't matter. This is a good album. Solid.
What one song? I Need You Tonight.
Yeah.
That's such a good underrated song on here. And it's funny because when they aired TV Dinner on MTV, it was like claymation.
Yeah, it was. I remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did a lot of videos off of that. I bet there's 4 or 5 videos off of it.
At least. Well, you know,
Because we know Give Me All Your Lovin'.
Legs.
And we got Sharp Dressed Man and Legs and TV Dinners. Did they do Got Me Under Pressure?
They may have.
I Need You Tonight? I don't know.
Oh no, just the guitar tone of this whole record.
Yeah. It was a step up for them.
Yes.
Even though we'd heard Tush and some of them other ones.
Yeah.
Up to this point, ZZ Top was okay.
Yeah.
This was the breakthrough album for them.
Well, they were, straight up blues band, blues rock and roll band.
And just the 3 guys. And to make all that noise.
And then, they got the production, what they've been looking for when they released this. Was it?
It's a different record.
That's 83 too, isn't it?
Probably. Was this a different record group than what they had before?
I don't know. That's 83, isn't it?
I can't see. See if you can see that thing.
So you're never getting old.
I say, I can't see it.
We're 83.
Let me see. Was that 1980? I was a sophomore in high school. 83.
Yep. Well, we're going to succession.
We got to do.
Oh, don't worry. I'm gonna.
That's another thing you could do when we do this. If you got other guys that want to participate, 2 albums from an era, an age.
Yes.
Let's do all your 83 albums. What do you think's the best albums from 83? Well,
let me see here.
Yeah. So yeah, that one there was right there with Van Halen 84 and
Fast Way
and that Judas Priest I brought in.
Yes.
And that Rat you showed me there a while back.
Yeah.
And I mean, we could just go on down the line. It wasn't because we were in high school and we didn't have anything else to do and we was getting into music. It was because this stuff was really good stuff they were putting out back then.
And people don't realize that. And it seemed like the go-to station was QFM 96.
Yeah.
But they played it all.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Which, hey. All right, here we go. To match.
Oh, yeah.
This is the Rhino reissue on red vinyl.
Oh, red vinyl.
Yes, sir.
All right.
I mean, there's really not much to say about this record except it's flawless.
Okay.
You know this.
Yeah, I've heard the album.
Yeah. I mean, it's a straight up banger.
Yeah.
I mean, there's actually this was released in since '85. Boy, I really went off the deep end there. Went a bit late.
Well, he had Sacred Heart after that, and Last in Line.
We had Last in Line was after this here, and I believe, like I say, Sacred Heart.
Intermission. Did you have that one?
Yeah, I got it.
It was like an EP, wasn't it?
Yeah.
See, I know a little Dio. I'm not.
I know you do. But yeah, this here, it was funny because FYE had this here.
What's this say here? DEVIL. I just noticed that sitting here looking at that.
Well, they actually.
I'm just kidding. I knew that.
Well, but he actually he caught hell.
Did it?
Because of this, because people, they were trying. They'd flip all this stuff
I
around.
don't think it was him. I think it was his artist slipped that in on him.
I mean, that's old English writing there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you can't go against that. But yeah, this here was in. Every time me and my wife would go into FYE, I'd pick this up. Look, I was like, oh man, I don't know. And one day she goes, just go ahead and get it. Mm-hmm. It's on red vinyl. Who cares, right? It's like, yeah, I got it. Well, come find out years later. It's picked up some coin because it's the red vinyl that Rhino put out's out of print.
So a good thing you got it.
Yeah. But, everybody out there who's into the rock and roll and heavy metal and stuff like that, they know this record. Mm-hmm. There's not much to say about it except it's flawless from one point to the other.
Now, let's take him kind of like what we did with Ozzy.
Yeah.
He came out of Black Sabbath, and this was out of his gates, his first solo stuff, really.
Yeah.
Over top of Rainbow and all that other stuff that he was part of. He came out and did this after how many years? Because he was in them other bands in the early 70s and Black Sabbath late 70s, early 80s. And he was a top singer in rock and roll. He'd already made himself known. Then he comes out of the gates and does this.
Yes. But what a lot of people don't realize, he was singing doo-wop.
At one time, yeah.
Back in the early 60s.
Yeah.
Of course, then he kicked out, had Electric Elves. They did their thing, and then they shortened the name to Elf, which was a phenomenal, Louisiana, bar band type sound.
Right.
Then they went on tour with Deep Purple. And then that's when Richard Blackmore goes, hey, I think I could make a record with your band, except for your guitar player, of course. Then that's when they released their Richard Blackmore's Rainbow. And, of course, then when the second record hit of Rainbow, it was like Rainbow Rising, they went, all right, you guys got to go. We're going to get our own band together, but I want to keep your lead singer.
Yeah.
Of course, that's how Dio did all that stuff. Released about 4 records with him, with a live record, of course. And then, he got ousted, then, straight to Sabbath, and that went south after a couple records, and then they released that live record, which, it's like, oh, you mess with the vocals and the drums, and then they come in, there's a lot of going on with the other guys. Mm-hmm. So then they said, well, we're going to leave. Then he got his own band together, and then just flew right on with it. It's still one of the greatest album covers put out there.
Now, he did do another Black Sabbath album.
Oh, yeah.
Was it after this? I forget what the name of it was.
Dehumanizer.
Humanizer.
Yeah.
And I had our cassette.
Yeah.
I thought it was good.
Yeah.
But it didn't measure up to Mob Rules but was it after this?
Oh, yeah.
So he did go back with Sabbath just briefly in the early 90s, or late 80s, early 90s?
I think it was early 90s and stuff, because he was still doing his thing through the 80s and stuff. And then they had like a break or whatever. He did this and that. And like I say, he did the Black Sabbath record. Mm-hmm. Did that. Then they went their separate ways again. He released a few more solo records, and then one thing led to another, they got together again and did Heaven and Hell. Then wasn't too long after that, he passed away.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's that album there, man, is just straight down the pike.
I liked Dio. I liked him probably better with Sabbath than I did this stuff. But what I'd heard on this was pretty good. And then I liked the Last in Line stuff.
Yeah.
I liked a little bit of the Sacred Heart.
Yeah.
So I don't know whether
Hungry for Heaven's still one of my.
I don't know if I'd have picked that one of my 3 DOs, but maybe one of the others.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I had to go for theme.
yeah, I have to be honest with you. It kind of was wicked to me, and kind of,
Yeah.
I was like, I'm not too sure about this.
Yeah.
You
Which
know,
I get.
I don't know what the words even mean or what they're even talking about, but I was like, I don't know. That might just be a little bit too much for me, but just my style or what I'm into. So,
Which I get. That's fine.
Yeah.
That's the reason why we like having this type of
but
discussion.
Should I tell you the Dio story about the Christmas song while we're on Dio?
Oh, please do.
Well, this is just me. I don't want anybody to buzzkill me or what do you call that? What's the word I want to use? Dr. Killjoy. Don't be a Dr. Killjoy to me. But Dio passed away.
Yeah.
Well, one of his last songs was the Christmas song that he did.
Mm-hmm.
And Dio had a reputable background of mystery and magical and maybe a little devilly stuff. I'm not gonna, everybody said that's what that means. But he probably played on it as a gimmick.
Yeah.
Everybody touched on
Well,
it.
Ozzy had his gimmick.
Yeah. And they said Kiss meant nights and Satan services and all that, and it was all a bunch of bullcrap.
Or even like that says
The devil upside down, and maybe that was done on purpose, maybe it wasn't. But anyhow, I was and I know there's people who watch this that don't believe the way I believe, but that's all right. I'm not trying to tell somebody what they need to do.
Yeah.
This was just me. So I'm in a record store, Christmas shopping, and this song comes on. It was a Christmas song, and it sounded like Dio. How could you not mistake Dio's voice?
Yeah.
And the lyrics to the song was "God rest ye merry gentlemen," and a part where it says, "And Jesus Christ our Savior was born upon this day." And I thought, Dio just said that Jesus Christ is our Savior?
Yeah.
And I was like, totally blown out of the water. Because he's literally saying that after all these years. And I went to the counter and I said, hey, that song that's playing, where can I get that? And he said, well, we've just got it right here. There's some kind of rock and roll Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
I said, I'm going to buy it. So I bought it. I listened to that, and I listened to that, and I listened to that. And it was like the greatest Christmas song I ever heard. And it wasn't too long after that, maybe in the next year, that he died.
Yeah.
So I'm at peace with that. That's the way I'm ending it. But nobody tell me any different.
On that note,
that's where I'm at with Dio, and he was a good singer, and so that's where we're at with him.
he had his way.
Yeah. And so whether or not that was something that happened or whether there is something that happens, that's not for me to debate. But that's where I'm at in my heart.
See, that was Dio. He could sing anything.
Yeah.
And he's still, to me, still the best Black Sabbath singer. Mm-hmm.
Was that your last album?
Oh, God, no, dude.
Oh, my turn. So I got that off my chest. I wanted to tell that sometime, that story. So that was a good time to tell it.
I think we're 10 records deep.
How many hours we got?
We're looking at 2 hours, but that's fine.
We're not bored people.
That's all right.
Now, this is my opinion. These guys are the Iron Maiden of Southern rock.
Yes.
They've got like how many guitar players? It's like Iron Maiden has.
1,000.
First of all, there ain't nobody on this record that's still living, by the way, sadly. But anyhow, every song on this album, my brother had this on 8-track. And I mean, we played the wazoo out of that. And I don't know how that 8-track never broke, but it never broke. And maybe every now and then you'd hear the other song coming in on the other track. But Whiskey Man, don't you play that hand too long?
Yep.
Who don't like that song? Does anybody out there not like that song? It's all over now.
Yeah.
She used to love me, but it's all over now. What a catchy rhythm. Now, one man's pleasure is another man's game. You can't. I'm just 3 songs into this, and I'm already singing.
Dude.
Jukin' City, Boogie No More,
Yeah.
Flirting with Disaster. Now, that gets played a lot. To this day, it gets played on every radio station. Good Rockin', Gunsmoke. Oh, that was a good one.
Yeah.
Long Time and Let the Good Times Roll.
Yeah.
There is not a bad song on this album. 1978, I believe.
78.
I can't see it.
All right, I'll see if I can see it.
And, but anyhow.
79.
79. That's right. Their first one was 78. That had Bounty Hunter on it.
In Gator Country.
Gator
right?
Country. But anyhow.
You know what? Seems like they sing from the heart.
Well, they're Southern rock, so they are going to be singing from the heart.
Point taken.
And I don't know that anybody ever coined themselves Southern rock. I think society coined Blackfoot and Leonard Skinner and Molly Hatchet and 38 Special was all Southern rock bands. But they were rock.
Yeah.
And they had a little different style than your Bostons and your Styx and your REO Speedwagons of that time. And it set them apart from them.
Yeah.
And they were just, I mean, you want to hear.
They had that.
And the bass on that.
Yeah.
And the drum.
Yeah.
I mean, you put that on, especially you got a good system, but if you got in your car.
It sounds good.
And
it's all right there.
Well, my brother had just this 8-track tape player with a little speaker like that, and it just sounded so good. Made them speakers sound great.
That was on Epic Records, though, wasn't it? I believe.
And for 1979, that was. It was different. It was kind of heavy.
It was.
It was hard. It was hard rock, but it was the kind you could sing with and dance to and just have a good time with. That's what that band was. They were a good time band. And
they played it to the hilt, too.
Yeah, and I didn't get to see them in concert, but somebody you just spoke to, I think, on one of your other episodes, saw them down at Jasper. Who was that?
It was probably Shoemaker.
No, I don't think it's him. But anyhow, they were down at Jasper, and that was in the early 90s, because it was around 93 or 4, because I was working down at Pike Lake, and Doug Stone and Patty Loveless played there, and this fella wanted me to take pictures of Patty Loveless, so he got me the ticket and got me the film and got me in there. I never seen the pictures afterwards. I just took the pictures.
Yeah.
And that was the same summer, so around 93 or 94. And those guys all told me, I don't know what you seen in that Molly Hatchet. They were terrible, Well, they were all country fans, so they didn't like that heavier rock. Well, I think Danny Joe Brown was back with them by then. And because he'd left, and they had the fella that did Beating the Odds.
Yeah, that was their third record. What I like about these records, though, you have probably one of the greatest artists.
Oh, Frank Frazetta.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, right there's enough.
They did Frank Frazetta on just about all of them up to the mid-'80s.
Yeah.
They even did a live album that I've got that I really like.
Yeah. But yeah, the album covers, man, they just really stand out.
Yep. So there's several reasons people buy vinyl records. A lot of people like the covers. In fact, there's people that'll buy an album and just
because of the
hang it up on their wall.
Yep.
They may never listen to the album. Oh, I like that artwork. And then there's people that like the vinyl, like to listen to it on vinyl. And there is a different sound to vinyl than CD or tape. There really is.
Honestly, I think the tape is closer to vinyl than CD, because CD's so overcompressed.
If you got a good tape player and it's not making that little warbly noise.
A lot of times that can have a lot to do with your tape, especially you have an older tape.
Or one's been in the car for a while.
It's warping pretty good.
Yeah.
But yeah. I mean, you can't beat it.
So I think you had this on one of your other episodes too, if I'm not mistaken.
That's possible.
But that's a go-to record. High and Dry.
Def Leppard.
That's a good one. You're starting to get into my stuff. Is this 81, 82?
I believe it maybe, yeah.
Because
Yeah, this is from 81.
Pyromania was after that, 83 maybe, 82,
Yes, it was.
83.
To me, this is their best record they ever put out.
Well, I've heard it and everything, but not enough to give you a review on it.
Yeah, but the first one, On Through the Night, it's good, but it's like there was a couple songs on there that probably could have left off. I think they probably could have. I think they probably could have made that album more of like an EP or whatever. But this record here is just. I mean, every song just hits hard. And there's not one bad song on the whole album.
This really didn't bring them out like Pyromania.
Oh, no.
They were still kind of unheard of by some people.
Oh,
they
yeah.
might have been popular in Britain.
Oh, yeah, they
But
were.
as far as in America, Pyromania is what brought them out.
Yep.
I remember they were playing in the Ohio Theater, Center.
Yeah.
And it was on Channel 10 News that there was a lot of commotion going on. It was Pyromania tour.
Oh, really?
And I don't know if there was some pushing, shoving, or some fighting, or something was going on. And they kind of come off as a rebellious band when that happened.
Well, they were young. They were in their 20s.
And now they're just so clean cut that you wouldn't even know of that kind of a background. In fact, I saw them when they opened for Kiss about, it's probably been 10 years ago.
10 years ago.
Down at Riverbend, and that was a good show. And they were well into their adulthood. I mean, they're not retired yet, but they were older than me, and I was probably close to 50 at the time.
Yeah.
So,
because a lot of people don't know about this record. You know, they just a lot of them took off with Pyromania. You know, and that was it. Then had Hysteria. It came after that, and you know, I think the first two records pretty much got pushed to the backside.
right.
I think it did. You know, this record here doesn't get talked about enough.
So you say it's this one, but Pyromania would have been a close second, and then the next one. But then after that, it's pretty much.
I care less.
Yeah.
I mean, you have this one here in Pyromania.
What was the one right before this called? Do you remember?
On Through the Night.
That's it. Yeah.
That
had the truck on it. Didn't
Yeah.
It? Yeah, I've had it. I think I have that one.
It's a good record, but it, like say, you know, there's, to me, it just never stuck. Not like this thing did. This one here, it's got a more heavier sound.
I'll have to re-listen to that one.
Yeah, it's pretty good. If anybody out there, if you have Pyromania, if you never listen to this record, get this record and listen
How's
to
the mix on that compared to Pyromania? Because Pyromania has that good thump and good. It was recorded well.
Yeah, this is the same way.
Okay.
It's got that. I mean, the guitars are crisp, bass is crisp, everything.
Yeah.
I think it sounds excellent. It's an excellent sounding record. But yeah, people out there, this is one to get.
That's a good follow-up to the Hatchet because of the sound quality.
Oh, yeah. See, we didn't even plan this.
Nope. My turn?
Yep.
I'm stuck in the South.
Is that the actual gold and platinum?
This is gold and platinum. Feel how heavy that is? Woo! It's just a vinyl, double vinyl. But I tell you, now this is another one that my brother had on 8-track that we listened to. This one or the live One More for the Road.
Yeah, that's a good one.
If you're going to get a Skinners with their better songs, get those two.
Yeah.
I've got about all the old Skinners.
Because I think that has the best version of Freebird on it.
Yeah. You can actually drive to Chillicothe from here before you get to the end of that.
Yes, you can.
think.
It's true.
But anyhow, the Skinner Innards came out when CDs was, and I bought it. It was like, oh hey, I can get all the Skinners on CD. You know?
Yeah.
And this, I don't even know that this is even still available, to be honest. I found this at a used record not too many years ago, probably within 5 or 6 years ago.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, yeah, we had that on,
This is
on
the
8-track. So I was like, I'm buying that.
Yeah, this is the one Freebird goes, what song is it you want to hear?
Well, this isn't live. This is,
Oh, is that the...
these are albums.
Okay, that's the...
One More for the Road.
What song is you want to hear?
Yeah, Freebird.
Say what?
But this has Down South Jukin', Saturday Night Special, Give Me 3 Steps, What's Your Name? You got that right. Have I said any yet that nobody knows? Give Me Back My Bullet, Sweet Home Alabama, Free Bird, That Smell, On the Hunt, I Ain't the One, Whiskey Rock and Roller, Simple Man, I Know a Little, Tuesday's Gone, Coming Home. Did I say anything in there that nobody really knew? I mean,
If you don't know, you need to.
so this would be a compilation album back in, had to be the late 70s.
I think that came out in 79,
79.
79. Yeah.
I did read that one. And
My sister bought that on vinyl.
if you're going to buy compilation albums on vinyl and you got to go to the old stuff, you better get this one for your Leonard Skinner.
Yep. That's all you
Don't
need.
get the Ennard Skinnards, whatever it was called. Skinner's Ennards. Get this one. And this is that you're covered.
Mm-hmm.
You're covered with this album. And I was like, yeah, Leonard Skinner. If I was going to pull out a Leonard Skinner,
That'd be the
it'd
one.
have to be this one.
And their first one,
Because we used
pronounced.
to listen to it all the time, and then when I got on vinyl, I'm like, yeah, it sounds so good.
It is.
Now, a lot of compilation albums, you lose something because they're taking it from some other kind of a recording from the album and putting it on here. So I question, unless it's been completely remixed and redone, the quality of a compilation album. That's the same with box sets too, but it usually says whether they've been remastered or re-recorded or redone. But this one here, I didn't really notice that with being 1979.
It's a good one.
Yeah. Another 1979, I think.
Yes. How'd you guess?
Da-da-da,
Ice,
da-da-da.
AC/DC, Highway to Hell,
Yeah,
from 1979.
I might.
First time I heard this here record, it was on 8-track.
Oh, yeah. Why is it we talk 8 tracks? Because we're from that era, I guess.
Bingo. It was funny because I actually had, was it Touch Too Much?
Oh, that was a good.
On 45 with the back song,
Oh,
B-side of Walk All Over You.
so which one was the release? Touch Too Much?
Yes.
That was a single.
Yeah, song. It just like,
I didn't know that.
oh,
Of course, I don't know a lot about these.
I was like, oh, I like that song.
Yeah.
You know, for the longest time, I always thought that was Bon Scott.
I didn't really know who they was when I was a kid. I figured this must be the singer, but obviously that's wrong because that's Angus Young.
Yep. But yeah, this is a killer record. I mean, like I say, there's not one bad song on this record. That's really about it.
I think that we had this one in the household. Probably my brother, I think, had it first.
Yeah.
Before any other AC/DC.
Yeah. I mean, how, like say, you got the Highway to Hell, Girls Got a Rhythm, Walk All Over You, Touch Too Much. We touched on that.
Yeah.
Beating Around the Bush, Shot Down in Flames, Get It Hot, If You Want Blood, You Got It. Love Hungry Man.
And Night Prowler.
That song's so good.
Yeah. The vocals.
Yep. I think, who was it? Robert Muttlang. Was he a part of this one?
Yeah, I'm sure he was.
Yep. He produced this record.
He's Shania. He was married to Shania at one time.
Yeah. He turned
That's
out.
the reason some of her stuff sounds kind of.
Yeah. He, I guess
And Def Leppard.
he turned out to be a douchebag.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he must have been something to lose her, so. But,
But he ain't no Brad Pitt. Sorry.
You had to say. That didn't impress me much, I tell you. But anyway, If You Want Blood, You Got It was an album.
Yeah, live record.
Before this.
Yeah, before that.
But was that song on there?
No.
So they just
got-
named an album,
Yeah.
and then they wrote a song about it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Of course, they probably already had it written, but they hadn't gone to the
Because it was
studio.
right before this,
Yeah.
kind of before it.
Yep. Yeah, it was like on the Power Age tour, I guess, so to speak.
So you're pretty AC/DC savvy, right? So
Well, I don't know if I go that far,
well,
but
let's throw something out there.
All right,
so
sure.
we know, at least I know this much. The story was that when the Australian band was coming to America, this was going to be the album they were going to release and go on tour with. Am I correct?
no.
And so they named it Highway to Hell because of the Bible Belt nation that America kind of was the theme of
Yeah.
what they stood for. And so they were like, well, we're going to go on the highway, we'll call it the highway to hell, and come in there with a vengeance and kind of rebellious and be hellions and go on that, ride that little shirt tail that would allow people to say, hey, who is these guys? You know, sometimes a little bit of controversy can make you a little more popular.
Goes a long way.
And Kiss actually took them on their tour, but I don't know that I thought they were already over here. I thought they took them on the High Voltage tour.
Well, the Kiss have been, AC/DC have been touring ever since their first record.
But in America, not in America.
Yeah, on their High Voltage tour, yeah.
But how come the story I heard was when they went on the Highway to Hell tour, that'd be their first tour in America.
No idea.
That's kind of the story I'd heard.
Because I listened to a guy, he was in Apollo Records and stuff. He said he's seen AC/DC on their first U.S. tour the same year, I think, of Queen, which would be
76 probably.
74, 75, around that time.
Huh.
But yeah, they played at
So
Newport.
what I heard might have not been necessarily true. They might have just saying they were going to go on this tour. And
That's possible. Hell, who knows?
Yeah.
Well, I knew they were touring the U.S. when they released High Voltage, which it's a good record.
I'm pretty sure it was the High Voltage album that Kiss took them out on, but they wasn't with them very long.
Yeah.
Probably because they got bigger than that and went out on their own.
No idea.
But High Voltage had TNT on it, right? And I remember that, but I didn't know it till after I'd seen this.
Yeah.
So sometimes we tended to backtrack.
Yeah.
Once we heard an album, then we'd want to go get their older stuff.
Yeah.
That happened with a lot of bands.
See where they came from a little bit.
In our age group, that probably happened a lot.
But yeah, there's nothing that can be said about this record that hasn't been said 1,000 times, you know.
Right. So this is your favorite Bon Scott. Probably favorite altogether.
I mean, if I was going to pick for someone to really get a big juice of what AC/DC really is, it'd probably be this record.
Yeah.
But I'd probably say one of my favorite records of AC/DC from the Bon Scott era would probably Power Age.
That's a good album. That's a popular one.
Only because it has What's Next to the Moon.
Mm-hmm. It came after High Voltage, didn't it? Was it after?
Oh, yeah, it was way after that.
Yeah.
Because before that, it was...
It was probably shortly before this.
Yeah, it was before that. Well, you had that like in between because they released that live record.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, then you had Let There Be Rock before Power Age, which is...
And see, I had earlier said Dirty Deeds was my favorite. It's Bon Scott.
It's a fucking record, man.
So,
That's a good record.
but I do like that one there too.
It hits hard.
Okay.
Oh, I got some bangers.
My turn next, though, still.
Oh, hey. Oh,
Are we back in 1984 again or 83?
seems like there's a vibe of 1980s going on here today.
Well, that's our era, man.
Yeah.
So,
It's 79.
let me touch on something with these guys.
Oh, be careful.
Get my glasses.
You know, that was actually a band cover after a while.
It was?
Yeah.
Well, they had a lot of band covers.
Oh, my God.
They had the gum on the boob and all that. But anyhow,
Cracked glass.
Bad Boys Running Wild. You are Rocky Like a Hurricane.
Yeah.
I'm Leaving You, Coming Home, The Same Thrill, Big City Nights, As Soon as the Good Times Roll, Crossfire, and Still Loving You. Okay. My brother had Blackout on cassette. We played the wazoo out of that thing in the car.
Deservedly so.
Good album.
Yeah.
I wound up getting this one when it was released. I loved Rocky Like a Hurricane. Of course.
Is that $6 again for that record?
Yep. I don't know where I got these. But I probably got a deal on it.
See,
so.
you probably triple your money nowadays.
Yeah. But that's the original sleeve and original hype. Again,
Yeah.
it's one of them deals where I played the record and recorded it.
Yep.
I kind of feel like I was kind of a smart guy. Didn't know it. Because look, I've got it in the year 2024 and it looks brand new.
Yeah.
And I've had it since high school. So my junior year in high school, I got this.
Mm-hmm.
And they went on tour in the summer. And I saw them in June of 1984 on this tour at the Ohio Center. That seemed to be the place to go.
It was the place.
But we was kind of in the back and up above, so the stage and the people was all down front. Was you at that one?
No.
But anyways, this group opened up for him. Had no idea. Didn't know who was opening for him till the day of. Walked in there, and there was a thing that looked like made out of this. Just behind the drum kit, just as generic stage as you could see. And it had this writing on it, funky writing. It said Bon Jovi. And I was like, Bon Jovi? Who the heck's Bon Jovi? And then somebody said, oh, they got a song QFM plays all the time. And
what, Runaway?
Said, Little Runaway or something. And I was like, oh, okay. Well, I don't know if I heard that. And said, oh, they're pretty good. So we was watching them, and John Bon Jovi came out, and he had the Aerosmith type tassels hanging off of him, and the big hair and the bandana, and just going all over the stage, and just the hair was just a flipping, and the guitarist Sambora, he was just jamming. And they did that whole album, that Runaway album, and we liked them well enough that they were so entertaining that we bought that album. Okay. So, but anyhow, getting back to Scorpions, they came out and they did one heck of a show. I mean, that show, there's videos of it. Yeah. It had like a cage that came around and went around like this, but it kind of sloped a little bit. And Klaus would kind of crawl around on it on his back and do weird stuff.
All 5'3" of it.
Yeah, and the guitarist, Matthias or whatever his name is.
Matthias Jabs.
He is, oh man.
He's a hell of a guitar player.
He was great. And he had them tight
spandex.
Gold and black, yellow and black. Looked like a yellow jacket up there on stage. But anyways, I remember seeing that and him and he'd move his mouth with it. And of course, they went into some of their older stuff that I wasn't that familiar with.
The old stuff's good.
But I was familiar with the Zoo. And I don't know what album that come off of, but it was an earlier one.
Animal Magnetism.
And the reason I was familiar with the Zoo was in '83, so this had been a year before this that I seen them. On Memorial Day, there was this festival out west called the US Festival. Yeah. And there was like a 3-day event. I don't know which day they were, day 2 or day 3.
Well, they were probably on the metal day, which is probably day 2 or some shit.
Yeah. But it was on Memorial Day week, I believe.
Yeah.
But anyhow, my sister and my brother-in-law just gotten married in April, and they lived in Chillicothe in an apartment. So they had cable. Well, I was still watching Channel 10 and 4 and 6. I couldn't see all this.
So what's this cable stuff?
Yeah, cable. And they had Showtime. Showtime? I've heard HBO. I never heard of Showtime. And they had this Betamax machine. You remember the little Betamax tapes? They were smaller than what we call VHS tape.
A lot smaller.
But they recorded this US Festival. Hey, you got to see this show. It's just your kind of music, and you guys will like it. So, and we watched it, and it was like the greatest thing I ever seen in my life. And there was just this sea of people. But on this show had Quiet Riot, and that was their mental health song. So it was all cut down. So they did like 3 songs a piece for these bands. Yeah. It had Ozzy. He came out and did his Crazy Train and a couple others. He had some kind of like a Indian outfit on. He'd tear that off and throw it on the stage. And Jake E. Lee was the guitarist then. Boy, he was good.
That was the Bark at the Moon tour then.
And I don't know if he did Bark at the Moon. Yeah, he might have. And then Triumph come out, and they did 3 songs. They had a nice little medley, and they showed the people kind of having a little good time. It almost looked like a hippie fest of the 80s. Oh, yeah. And they were playing it with that song, and that was kind of neat. And then Judas Priest. Yeah. And that was really opening my eye on Judas Priest, because I'd already been familiar with the Screaming for Vengeance. Yeah. And then to do that, to come out like they did, it's like, oh man, Judas Priest is tough. So, that kind of got me interested in Judas Priest.
Have you ever seen them live?
Just some of the newer stuff that's on YouTube.
I mean,
but not in person. No, my brother, he saw them in more recent years, but I didn't go with
They put on a good show. Still to this day.
Oh yeah, he's got a good voice for his age. It's never
It never
faltered.
wavered.
Yeah.
Still strong.
So, anyways, then Scorpions came out, and they did the Zoo, and they did shoot, dang on, I can't remember now what all they did. They did Cup Off of Here,
Yeah.
but anyways, they did a good show, and it was getting dark at that time. And then Van Halen came out with David Lee Roth.
Yeah.
But anyhow, that concert, to make it short, that introduced me to the Scorpions, introduced me to Judas Priest.
Yeah.
I got to see what Ozzy was like. And of course, Quiet Riot did good. And Triumph, I really didn't know a whole lot about. And they were good. And of course, I already knew Van Halen. They put on a good show. So that's a memorable concert. And I guess there's all kinds of variations of that out now. And I've seen some of it. But that was the one that most stuck to me as a person in my sophomore year, going into my junior year.
It's funny that you mentioned that, by watching that videotape off the beta. It was back when satellite dishes first came out. The big old fiberglass ones. You probably big old tin.
Where you had to turn the big knob to go to a different thing out in space. Yeah.
'Cause Grandma and Grandpa had one. I went down there. I just wanted to watch this show, because I accidentally skipped onto it one day. I was down there farting around, I was like, oh, okay. So I wrote down, what the coordinates and whatever, where in the hell was that? It was a program called Much Music out of Canada.
Huh.
I don't know if you ever heard of them.
I think I have heard of that.
But they had a show on there called Power Hour. It was about like MTV Headbangers Ball.
Right.
But it was only for an hour. That was the first time I heard what you would call like death metal, black metal, whatever you want to call it.
Oh, yeah.
A group called Venom.
Oh, yeah, I've heard that. I think you've had them in here. On some of
Yeah,
your shows.
and it was that song Witching Hour, the live version of Witching Hour. I was like, oh, this is what this is going on here. Of course, they played like Iron Maiden. I think it was the song Women in Uniform that I'd seen on there. I was like, oh, this isn't Boston. This isn't Nazareth anymore.
Right.
This isn't Leonard Skinner.
Yeah.
When you mentioned that about the beta, you was like, oh my.
Yeah.
This is so good.
It was different, wasn't it?
Especially when, you're like 13, 14.
All of a sudden, you wasn't playing Atari anymore. He was videos.
Well, then, then of course, that's when you go to school. I mean, you ever heard of a band called Venom?
Yeah.
No, what the hell are you talking about?
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
Which,
And those different satellites was being picked up all over the world. So you were seeing stuff that other countries were seeing and the United States wasn't necessarily seeing. Am I correct on that? I think
that's pretty possible.
so.
But a lot of people may not.
Might have been in our airspace, but I don't know how it was. But
when you move the satellite around, of course, it hits a different satellite to where you can actually access Much Music out of Canada.
So maybe it's Canada and the United States.
Bingo. Yeah. Here's what I don't know if you've really heard of this band. Group called Clutch.
Oh, I've heard of them. I think you've showed me this one before.
That's quite possible. The record Earth Rocker. This is the record that I really got into them with. I actually seen them twice on this tour. Yeah, I know.
Was they by themselves or open for somebody?
Oh, they were the opener.
Okay.
I mean, not the opener, but the main.
Right.
They were
Headliner.
they were the headliner. And let me tell you what. You want a band who kicks out some really quirky to weird to psychological type lyrics. This is the band. And they're basically a stoner rock band. I mean, they've opened for Slayer.
Oh, yeah.
They've done numerous different types of weird shows and stuff.
Right.
Where they actually show up. But yeah, this is the record that really got me into them. Not one bad song on that bad boy. You got Earth Rocker, Crucial Velocity, which is Mr. Freedom, DC Sound Attack, Onto the Breach, Gone Cold, The Face, Book, Saddle, and Go, Cyborg Betty, No Isabella, The Wolfman Collie Request. I mean, you can pretty much get an idea about how they're, when you hear it, you know it. I've seen these guys, I think, 3 times. But yeah, there's if you read, when was this released? Of course, it doesn't say. Man,
Yeah, that near looks a little odd in the back. Don't have much credits for anything, does it?
no. I mean, there you go. But you know, it's a. Where she get that
Pretty
type
good art
of
design in that.
Yeah, it almost looks like a computer type design
Right.
to it.
Yeah, that's cool.
But it's a pretty good record. You know, it's good enough for me to sing twice on this tour. You know, they're basically, you know, like say your stoner rock and roll type band.
Right.
Lead singer, he comes out and hello. But yeah, it's anybody who gets a chance to listen to a really good Clutch record,
That's cool.
I would pick this one here. I would,
The others, huh?
yeah, I would recommend this one here 100% to him.
I'll have to pull them out and watch them.
Yeah, just that song Earth Rocker. That's all you need to hear. Next. I know that was a little quick on that one, but
Well, this next one, we'll probably be fairly quick on it because you've talked about it before
oh, I have.
on other episodes.
Yes.
This album,
Yes.
in my opinion, if you're a collector of record albums, you don't have a good collection until you got this one in there.
For $4.
That was probably at a used record. Brand new, I bought it brand new, but it was probably at a
Well, it's a reissue.
like a school kid's record. But
Yeah, because I actually sprung this on Dave.
yeah, I seen that. And you sprung it on somebody else too. Maybe it's me. Ballroom Blitz. You can't go wrong with Ballroom Blitz.
No.
I mean,
Hey, Terry.
the 16s.
Yep.
No, you don't. AC/DC. I Want to Be Committed.
Yep.
Sweet FA. Fox on the Run. Set Me Free. Into the Night. And Solid Gold Brass. Now, let me tell you right now, that there's one song that's been redone, Ballroom Blitz.
Crocus.
No, You Don't's been redone.
Yeah.
Sweet FA's been redone. Fox on the Run's been redone. Set Me Free's been redone. There's all these bands that's redone these or covered them. And that tells you something because the band was influential
Yes.
on these other bands. And how I came about these, now my brother had Love Is Like Oxygen on a 45. So I only knew of Love Is Like Oxygen
That's a
by
good
Sweet.
song.
But when I was a kid, on AM radio, you would hear a song called Little Willie.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until after the fact I realized that was a Sweet song.
Yeah.
I'd had this and heard Love Is Oxygen before I'd heard this Little Willie. And I mean, we were in the car somewhere and we had it on the radio and this Little Willie. And I said, oh, I haven't heard that song for years. And who sings that? And we was trying to figure out who sung it. And they said it was Sweet at the end of it. Well, Sweet did
Did all kinds of stuff. Bro.
Desolation Boulevard. So how I came about this is, you remember you had a story about when people have people that you know, and Evan was one of them that you've had in other episodes. Well, his brother had an 8-track tape player in one of his Chrysler, Dodge, whatever cars that they had.
Oh, you know it had to be Chrysler.
Back when he was little. And he told me that there was this band Sweet that they had in an 8-track, and he had a good memory of riding around in that car with his brother. So he wound up getting that Sweet album on record, and we played it at his house, and that got me started on liking Sweet. So that's how I got introduced to Sweet. But and he wound up getting an 8-track later on, I guess. I don't know. I remember seeing an 8-track at his house. But anyhow, and he was pretty little back then when he did that. And so I tell you, I've loved this album. I can pick this album up at any given time and put it on my turntable.
It sounds fresh.
And it has a British hard rock they were kind of branching out of that bubblegum Little Willie sound.
Yeah.
And they were going into something a little more serious with this album.
Yeah.
And of course, after that, there was a couple like "Give Us a Week" album. I've got it.
That's a pretty good record.
And then they went into the "Love Is Like Oxygen," which they were kind of mellowing out, kind of being like an REO Speedwagon type group.
Which that's fine.
And but this, and of course, they had different band members come and go.
Yeah.
But they're all dead except for one,
Which is the guitar player.
the guitar player. If you pull him up on YouTube, you'll see him. But they've got a pretty good band put together now. Continuing on is sweet, and they do a good job covering a lot of those songs. And that's a nice thing about rock and roll music and bands is if you've got people that's willing to carry it on.
Yeah.
Go and carry it on. Let other people hear the history of the music.
Because I think I mentioned that in one of the other podcasts. Like, who cares if nobody else is in the band, or they've died off, and you have this group of people want to get together,
Right.
and do the songs, and they play it to how they're supposed to be played.
Right.
Who cares?
Right.
I get so sick of this. That's all you hear. Well, there's only one original player. Who cares?
Right.
What do you?
If you're sitting at that concert
Are you kidding me?
and you're complaining about that, then you're not enjoying the music.
Right.
Why don't you just set those differences aside and be entertained for once?
It's like,
because you know they're entertaining them.
yeah,
Regardless of who's in the band.
Yeah.
You can go up here to the festival and see cover bands
all
the
day
whole
long.
night or up at the bar, and they're entertaining you, aren't they? They ain't the band, but they're singing their songs.
Yeah, and you're sitting there going, "Boy, that does sound good."
Yeah.
I was like, "Yeah, it does."
So what's the difference if a band carries on without any members?
I don't think there's any difference.
No?
Just as long as they, do the songs with integrity that they were intended to.
I'll have to look. There's probably a Molly Hatchet going on somewhere.
No one says so. Well, there's all kinds of these tribute bands floating around now.
And like Grand Funk's going around.
Yeah.
Different members and
Who cares?
what was that band that Rudy Sarzo was in? The Guess Who?
Yeah.
They went out. They were playing festivals.
Speaking of Motorhead.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Sorry about this, Brent. This is probably my favorite. This one in Orgasmatron are probably a good stiff tie, for my favorite Motorhead records.
Well, I lost that bet with myself because I was taking a bet as to whether you would bring Motorhead out or not. I knew you'd have to bring Motorhead.
Oh yeah, this era record is called "Another Perfect Day." I remember getting it on we've been talking about 8-tracks a lot. I'm sorry, got it on cassette. It was weird because every time I get to the song "Rocket," it would start dragging. It's like, man, what's going on here? It's like, so I would I'd take the cassette out and I'd put another cassette in, play fine. I'd put that back in, you'd play Rocket for a little bit, and there's
Because you played it too much.
well, no, it's even brand new.
Huh.
It just wanted to drag. But this here is actually the 40th anniversary half-speed master edition, pressed on orange and yellow spinner vinyl.
Wow.
Yeah. See, this is like
It's got I like the cartoon comic strip. Ooh,
there we go. That's what we got here.
that's cool.
But yeah,
Well, shoot, I'd buy that just for the vinyl.
you can hang that up on the wall, wouldn't you?
No, I just like the looks of it.
But yeah.
And that's kind of a modern gimmick we're seeing with new releases. They're making all kinds of wild colors and
It's cool.
because it's bringing it out to this younger generation. They're
Yeah.
like, hey, that's pretty neat.
And they're the ones probably hanging a damn thing on the wall if I mean
Maybe, or
but I'm probably wrong.
they've got the little suitcase Crosley record players that tears up your vinyls when you play them.
Eats them up probably.
And they're just putting them on there and looking how cool it looks.
Yeah. Yeah, I got that back at the Funny Farm.
The Funny Farm.
Yeah. And then jumps to Shine, Dancing on Your Grave, Rocket. One Track Mind, Another Perfect Day, Marching Off to War, I Got Mine, Tales of Glory, Die, You Bastard.
That's what it's called?
That's the name of the song. But yeah, it's there's the band members right there.
That's cool.
It's funny because, well, the guitar player in this band here actually came from Thin Lizzy.
Oh, that's good.
Brian Robinson was his name. So yeah, that was the only album he did with Motorhead. Which is, you know...
They're a pretty good band, Motorhead, really. They've got a lot of history.
Yeah, they play rock and roll.
Mm-hmm.
Well, much ahead we play rock and roll. Mm-hmm. Good record. I would recommend that one or Orgasmatron as one to go to.
I got one more left. Where you go?
Yes.
One more?
One more.
All right.
Oh, you seen it?
Nah, I haven't paid attention.
All right, good deal. Mind you, people, this is 15 records a pop.
Yeah.
30 records.
No wonder we're 2 hours into this.
That's all right.
This record, I had it on cassette. And then I had it on cassette again. Because you know how cassettes do. So then I bought it on CD. And then when I got back into vinyl collection, I ran across it. And I said, oh, wow, I got to buy it on vinyl. And this, in my opinion, is the best when I've got a record to pull out of my record collection, because I've had it in so many different formats. I've probably heard this way more times than any other record I own. So I have to say that this beats all my other records as far as outside of Kiss as the record that I probably go to the most.
Great live record.
And it's better than Live Bullet.
Live Bullet's pretty good.
But this beats it, in my opinion. Maybe not somebody else, but to me it does.
Let's see what song it is. Okay.
We'll read them out.
Was it the Night Tonight?
Yeah.
Trying to Live My Life Without You. You'll Accompany Me. Hollywood Nights. Old Time Rock and Roll. Main Street. Against the Wind. Okay, this is Against the Wind tour.
Is it? Okay.
The Fire Down Below. Her Strut. Feel Like a Number. Fire Lake. Betty Lou's Getting Out Tonight. We've Got Tonight.
Yeah.
Night Moves. Rock and Roll Never Forgets. And Let It Rock.
Yeah. That is a solid live. And a lot of people I know have seen Bob Seger, and they say he puts on a good show. Mm-hmm. And with a track list like that,
what else is
you done lost 10 pounds sweating, singing to it. With
yes.
Him. And this is just this one album. If you combined his older stuff with this, he probably played for 2.5, 3 hours.
Oh, no doubt.
The songs that ain't on here. So I like to take Live Bullet sometimes and listen to it, and then listen to this right after. Mm-hmm. So then you got a 4-record live set.
Yeah, because I know Live Bullet, you got the older stuff, which is it's killer stuff too.
Yeah, it's good. It's definitely a good album.
Yeah, this is
the one I go to the most.
This is recorded live in Detroit in June 1980 and Boston October 1980.
Yeah.
That's good. That's a good record.
I mean, we've wore that cassette out different times playing it. Old time rock and roll. Great memories of driving in the car and listening to that.
And that cover.
And
with that live stage.
Yeah. And you know, here we go. We talked about the lights before. Yeah. The old lighting in the old concerts wasn't nothing like you see now in concerts. And so, you know, back in the day when you watched a concert like this, it had to be kind of dark and kind of drab maybe at times, but then maybe every now and then a spotlight would shoot up and
blind you.
Yeah. And so when we're used to seeing these modern concerts, it's hard to kind of imagine what it was like back in those days.
Well, you got it. Those are just straight out light bulbs. Mm-hmm. The ones we got nowadays, we got LED lights.
Right, that's true. And so anyhow, there's not a bad song on this album. It's all of his greatest hits live. And if you like Bob Seger, that's awesome. If you don't, you probably won't like it. But it's
if you don't like
it's my favorite.
If you don't like Seger, well, nobody cares what you think.
Yep. Yep.
Well, headed back to the thrash.
Okay, we're in it on thrash, are you?
Yeah, might as well.
All right.
Anthrax.
Oh well, they're a renowned thrash band.
Yes, I've been lucky enough. I've seen them twice,
Yeah.
and each time, it's full of energy and this and that. This record here, I think, is probably the best one that they put out. And this was released back in the 80s.
Huh.
87. They're a New York band. They're part of the Big Four, so to speak, The big songs on this here record, of course, is Indians, I Am the Law, and Caught in a Mosh. So, yeah. That's one of the big ones from that era of thrash.
That's awesome.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, it's you ever get a chance, I mean, if you're looking to get an Anthrax record, to start off with,
Yeah.
I would pick this one. Of course, that I don't think they've really released a dud of a record anyways. But they ended up getting the lead singer from Armored Saint to sing for him for a brief. But yeah, it's a pretty good record, I believe. Of course, we listened to the hell of that back in 87, when it first came
That's
out.
awesome. Yeah, good band, Anthrax.
Yeah, it's pretty good stuff. But yeah, I mean, if you get the chance, if you've never heard of them, that'd be the one I'd probably gravitate to, to get a full of what the band's all about and this and that. Like I say, it's from 1987. And they're part of Big Four, from Metallica and,
Yep.
But yeah, right there's 30 albums.
I know. I gotta use bathroom.
Yeah. That we went through, just to give people maybe an idea of maybe something to ponder.
Yep.
Maybe a second source of listening pleasure.
Yep.
If that's what you're into, So yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Brett, I appreciate you taking the time to
Glad
come
to
out
be
here.
here and enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Yep.
Going through records and stuff, maybe giving, trying to put a little bit of FYI.
I think we covered all grounds.
I mean, hell.
Clear back to Elvis.
Yeah. From Elvis clear up to everything.
Ain't that great?
But yeah, I think we're done here.
Okay.
I appreciate
I'll
you.
come back again sometime.
I appreciate you coming out, taking the
I
time
like
to.
your podcast, so you got some good guests, and you'll be getting some more. So, and I try to hook you up.
Oh, we got some good guests. I got 3 others lined up. I think it's going to be a good one. But on that note,
All right.
but
Thank you.
I appreciate everybody who wants to like and share and subscribe to this and everything, and be kind to one another.
Okay.
Thank you, Maul.
Yep. I just